And we're back. Hey everybody, it's Darren Carter, the party starter, the week of Halloween. It's going to be spooky. In this episode, we will be talking about Son of Sam, politically incorrect song lyrics, dealing with breakups, days of our lives, hair loss, hair transplants, pyramid schemes, gingers, and of course, Halloween. I was wondering because we didn't have Halloween last year, really. I mean, maybe like some Zoom type of Halloween. But so now that we're allowed to do Halloween this year, you think anyone will get canceled for their costume? I tweeted that and somebody wrote back, shout out to Heidi Putalats. I can never pronounce your last name. I just know you as Heidi. But Heidi, she writes, Darren, help. I need to come up with an 80s one. I'm going to a charity event, which some 80s celebrities will be at, hence the 80s theme. And one is a childhood idol of mine. Friends say I should dress like them in the 80s, but to me, I fear they'd think that's some misery level craziness. That is true. You show up to a costume party and you're dressed like the person, like, hi, Weird Al, I'm dressed like you. But I mean, I think it's a little bit normal, like when people dress like Weird Al when they go to a Weird Al concert, but yeah. So my 80s suggestions, I told her, I said, well, maybe you could dress up like Michael Jackson Thriller maybe, or some neon clothes, or maybe dress like the girls from Robert Palmer videos, or Flashdance, something like that. My son, Austin Carter, a.k.a. AusTheBassBoss, he's going to go as Rick Astley. Rick Astley, and then when he knocks on people's doors or whatever, he's going to go, Rick or treat. That's pretty clever, right? Rick or treat. Shout out to my wife for coming up with that. That's good. And his video now on, I told you guys he started his YouTube channel, AusTheBassBoss. That video that he did, the Rick Astley one, the Rick roll, has over 1 million views. In fact, right now I just looked it up. As of this recording, 1,268,367. Yes, Austin, let me open for you, okay, buddy? Let me open for you when you blow up even bigger. It's hilarious. I'm over there struggling, trying to get views on YouTube. And I'm like, dude, there's no rhyme or reason. Meanwhile, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Dad. It's like 1 million, 2 million, 3. I mean, it's crazy, but that's funny. By the way, if you like what we do and you want to help out, hit my Venmo at Darren Carter Comic. I'm also on the Cash App at Darren Carter Comic, or I think it's $ over there. Or if you do PayPal, go to darrencarter.com. I want to read a couple of motivational quotes that just kind of stuck out to me this week. Stay strong no matter how many ups and downs you go through. So stay strong no matter how many ups and downs you go through. Spend more time with people who bring out the best in you, not the stress in you. This is funny. This is from one of the boxing coaches at the gym. This is from Coach Buddy McGirt. It's a guy on a bicycle, a mountain bike, and he's hauling ass. Looks like he's either in Colorado or Alaska. And there's a bear behind him. And the quote says, some days it's hard to find motivation. Some days motivation finds you. This is from Carl Jung. I love this. Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. Right? It's easier to tear down stuff that somebody else has built. By the way, I do the 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups. And I played tennis yesterday. I hadn't played in a couple of years. And I'll have I don't think those push-ups and sit-ups helped at all. I really don't. I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh, my reflexes, especially at first, like the first 5 minutes, my opponent would hit the ball, I'd see it bounce, and I'd be like, oh, and I'm so slow. It was like my feet were in mud. And then eventually I kind of bounced out of it and got into but man, it's, I guess it goes back to boxing. Like, that's why they say it's easier when you're already jumping. That's why they have you skip rope, because if you're already kind of bouncing, it's easier to start from there as opposed to like a standstill where your feet are planted. I think my feet were planted. I think they would serve the ball and I wasn't really hopping around. I was just like, I'm going to wait for it. And then it would come at me real fast. And then I'd be like, I better go towards it. And then it would just zip past me. Here's something I noticed when people play tennis. We come up with a lot of excuses, man. I was like switching out hats. I'm like, this hat doesn't fit right. It's blocking my view. I was hold on, time out. I was taking my sunglasses off. I was like, no, the sun's in a different position than when we started. I mean, I'm like, just all the excuses. I'm like, I'm tired from running around the track with the warm up. I mean, just all the excuses. This isn't my same racket. I need my normal racket. People hit it's funny too when you hit the ball and it doesn't go where you want it. You look, everyone stares at their racket like, what the hell? Like, I should probably do that with my jokes. Like I do a joke, no one laughs. I stare at the microphone. What the? Guys, this is going to be an encore presentation podcast, and it's I'm going to leave it in whole because even some of the things that we talk about, it's kind of like a timestamp for the time. This was recorded about 3 years ago in the month of October, and I always love having Dr. Dean on. The guy's a wealth of knowledge. He's a fantastic storyteller, and you can go through my catalog of episodes, and you'll find other ones that he's on, and I thought I would do this. So listen, guys, thank you so much. Like I said, you want to help out, go to YouTube, leave comments, share these videos. And if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, I'm on PayPal, the Cash App, and Venmo. And usually I put that in the description, so there you go. And I'm also available on CAMEO for celebrity shout-outs. That's right. And I do it at rock-bottom prices compared to my peers. So there you go. A little personal video for you or someone you love. I'll wish them a happy holiday, happy birthday, etc., etc. I even do roasts. I can go there. This is a great episode. It really is. And it's funny because I make my episodes shorter now. But this is when I was like, you know what? Let's go for that Joe Rogan 3-hour, but I don't know. You let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, enjoy the podcast. Now let's start that party in your ear holes.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know that he's a party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to our Pocket Party. Pocket Party.
Check this out. How old is your mom?
80.
80 years old.
I absolutely loved it. And this is your mama talking, and you know how judgmental I am. And when I say it's good, it's good. Wonderful. Both of you together is fantastic. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. Ciao, ciao. Have a great night. I want to listen to the next one.
That's my mom, 80 years old.
Dude, that's so cool.
And she's listening till it was 10 after 1 in the morning.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to a Pocket Party. Pocket Party. Darren.
You're listening to the Pocket Party Podcast with Darren Carter. It's a podcast that you put in your pocket. Here's Darren.
Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite podcast. The Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, baby. We are back. We are back live. You like that? That's a kind of cool little ditty these college kids made. Check it out one more time. It's only 15 seconds, maybe 12.
Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite podcast. The Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite.
It's hilarious to me because they improvised it, and it's awesome. But, yeah, if you guys want to do a cover of it or do your own version, just, send it to me. Send it to me at pocketpartypodcast@gmail.com. Or if you got a buddy that's in a band or something, any kind of theme song you want to send, and that's 20 seconds to 30 seconds long. It's all we need. And I'll give you a shout out and plug you on YouTube and all that good stuff. We're back together again. We are back. A couple things. If you want to do a review on iTunes, I would love it. Ratings and reviews. People are sending them in. I love it. Let's read a couple of them and you'll get a shout out. And like I said, if you ever want to do, plug your social media or any of that good stuff in the review, I'll gladly read it. I have no problem doing that. We're here to help each other out. Okay, cool. We got this one right here. Here's some new ones. Some of them are really short, and that's what I'm saying. All you got, even if it's short, just send that. One guy writes, "Awesome!" in all capitals. Love it. Next, cool podcast, and this is by Work4074. Good. They wrote, so good. Love the issues. They're great too. Listen. See, super simple. Somebody said they saw me at the Dead Crow in North Carolina. Love the show. By something like INCEDT Family, whatever that is. Darren has great guests. By Chucko, New York City, 212. Keep up the great podcast. Heard about your podcast on Yo Martine's podcast. That's pretty cool. Some of my favorite reviews, I love this one, by Fast and Furious George. He writes, funny and poignant. The great thing about this podcast is that the conversations are unforced and natural, tipping between hilarious, serious, and poignant, without any sense of Carter having to steer the dialogue in any direction. He's a natural interviewer, and it's great that because of his background as a comic, you get to sit in on conversations with fellow comedians who share insight on their craft and their life. Always a great listen, never boring. Thank God. That was pretty cool. I saw a recent, somewhere, was it on YouTube? Somebody said I had a cool podcast voice. I'm like, yeah, I got a good podcast voice. That's what's up. Whoever thought that would be a compliment, but it is, right? Back in the day, remember, it was like, you've got a face for radio, which meant like you weren't very handsome. You're like, no, we'd love to hear you on the radio. That's where you belong. You've got a face for it. But now it's even further than that. It's like, you've got a voice for podcasting. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. What else can I tell you? I got some dates coming up. If you're listening to this right away and you're in the LA area, I will be at the Hollywood Laugh Factory Wednesday the 24th, Thursday the 27th. Thursday the 25th, I'll be at the Long Beach Laugh Factory. October 27th, I'll be in Burbank doing a big fundraiser for Burrell's high school baseball team. November 8th through the 10th, I'll be in Reno. November 23rd through the 24th, I'll be back in my hometown, Clovis, California, at DeChico's in Clovis, California. Tell everybody the day after Thanksgiving, and also that Saturday after Thanksgiving. December 14th, 15th, 16th, I'll be at Tommy T's in Sacramento, Tommy T's, December 14th, 15th, 16th. Time for some coffee. Man, I had a great 2-day travel tour. Got up early, flew to Wilmington, North Carolina, played the Dead Crow. Friday, Saturday, got back on a plane, got here last night, did a podcast, which you'll soon hear, with Dr. Dean Larit. And went to the boxing gym, always getting motivated there, doing my thing. You know, I want to give a shout out also to Chris. I want to say Chris Hickman. He drove 6 hours with his lovely bride. They came all the way from Tennessee to see me in North Carolina. Great to see you, man. Funny ass shirt. It said bullshirt, which is hilarious. I used to do this bit about bullshit. And he had a shirt that said bullshirt. I'm like, that's funny. And then he looked familiar, and I'm like, where do I know? And then I'm like, boom, he's a member of the Pocket Party podcast family. By the way, if you guys are on Facebook, join our group. More and more people are coming in. Ben, all the way from Australia, oftentimes writes me now on Facebook in the Pocket Party podcast group. He's like, hey, mate, when's the next podcast? Who's the guest? I love it, man. I love that this medium is reaching people around the world. I want to get a little serious here. Sean reached out to me. Sean wrote, I don't know if I'm supposed to say his whole name or what, but he writes, big shout out to Sean. Sean Biddy. That's the middle. Okay. He writes, hey, man, just wanted to say Pocket Party has been helping me this week. He broke up. He got into a relationship breakup. He goes, it's been so helpful having your show. Thank you for your show. Love it. Your Instagram stories are killing me too, man. Love seeing you on Instagram. And then he writes, and we still celebrating Christmas. I love it. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know what that's all about, or any of that stuff. I've been doing it for a couple of years. When people leave their Christmas decorations up past Christmas, I always go, "Hey, what's up, everybody? It's December 27th, and we still celebrating Christmas." And it's the longer the year goes by, the more hilarious it is. But I do it year round if I can. If I can find any kind of Christmas decoration, that's the catchphrase I've been saying. We still celebrating Christmas. Still celebrating Christmas. Shout out to Knock 'em Out the Box. He drew up some mock t-shirt ideas for me, which is pretty cool. So we might get that going. Some t-shirts that say, we still celebrating Christmas. Super simple, because that's how I do it. Black t-shirt with just 2 colors, maybe 3, we'll see, but 2 is better. We still celebrating Christmas. I got to figure all this out, like how to do an online, I don't know how to do it, man. I know some of these podcasts, here's a store, and people just go there and they make the t-shirts, print to order, and then boom. And if you're in that world or know how to do it, send me a message on the Facebook group or email me at pocketpartypodcast@gmail.com. What else did I want to tell you? This is a very long podcast. It's very entertaining. We covered a lot of topics, man. This guy, Dr. Dean, he's one of my favorite guys to have on the show because he's got the gift of gab, and we cover so many topics that somebody's going to relate to something, man. So he's great. And I love all the great feedback we've been getting. If you guys want to donate to the podcast, if you look in the description of the podcast, you'll see there's a little button, and you could be a monthly donator and help grow this thing to the next level, so I can actually be able to have my own studio and have, you know what I mean? Just blow up the whole thing. Be able to tour more, come to your town, make it happen. Anyways, you go to the description of however you got this podcast. I upload it to anchor.fm, but if you get it on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever, iHeartRadio, Spotify, there should be in the description how to click and be a monthly donator, and I really, really do appreciate that. All right, let's get into it, guys. I saw this great motivational quote. I love it. I want to carry this on. It said, always at the end, let me start over. Always end the day with a positive thought. No matter how hard things were, tomorrow's a fresh opportunity to make it better. Ain't that the truth? So end the day with a positive thought. No matter how rough the day was, take that moment. I'm going to tell you something kind of funny. I was at the boxing gym doing planks, and I've been sort of neglecting my ab section for a long time. I'm like, whatever. I run a lot. I walk. I push-ups, blah, blah, blah. So, I crank out some sit-ups or crunches barely every now and then. But I've been really trying to step that up, part of the boxing regime, trying to make that part of a habit. And it's pretty cool. Planking, I don't know if you guys are plank at all, but even just to plank for a minute was hard for me at first. It still is, actually. But as I was on my elbows planking, I thought, rather than counting the time and trying to be like 20 seconds, 25, that's hard when you're just thinking about the time. I thought, let me count my blessings. Let me actually say a prayer. Why not? Give some gratitude. And honestly, the time flew by because I still wasn't done. It was like a spiritual moment. They were like, all right, time's up. And I kind of wanted to keep going because I was like, because sometimes you got to just be grateful for the little things, even the little things like for example, right now you have hopefully a fully charged device that you're listening to this podcast on. If you're in a car, you have a vehicle. If you're going somewhere, you have a place to go. You have a place to get there. Somebody wants to employ you. Sometimes you got to bring it down to even those small gratitudes. Shout out to Rems. Rems always gives me shit. That's hilarious. He's like, I was too fucking positive. I needed to hit pause for a second. Come back. I love it, man. You guys are awesome. I love the podcast family that we got here, the Pocket Party podcast family. Let's get into it. You guys are going to love it. All right. See you soon.
Pocket Party.
This is Morgan Freeman, and you are listening to one of the most important podcasts ever made in the history of podcasting, the Pocket Party Podcast with my good friend, Darren Carter.
All right, buddy. This is Morgan Freeman, and you're listening to the Pocket Party Podcast, one of the most important podcasts in podcast history, with Darren,
my good friend.
with my good friend Darren Carter.
What's up, everybody? We're back with Dr. Dean Larit. That was a pretty good impression.
That's
not bad.
horrible.
No, but you've heard it enough to where you're like, I like your attempt at it.
It was a good attempt.
It was a good attempt.
The memerization was good.
This is Morgan Freeman. I like the way, man.
This is Morgan Freeman, and you are listening to one of the most important podcasts in podcast history with my good friend Darren Carter.
And then I think at the end,
I think that sucks.
to even make it sound even more real, he goes, Darren Carter. And he kind of goes,
Right. He does it right. He said,
little thing like that was like the little If you guys aren't clear what we're talking about, if you go back and you listen to, I want to say episode 25, 24, 26, somewhere
say
in
the
there.
guy's name.
Josh Robert Thompson. If you go back and look at the Pocket Party Podcast, episode 24, 25, 26, somewhere in there, he did 8 seasons of Family. He has done 8 seasons of Family Guy, and he did do 8 seasons of The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, and he does voice matching for Morgan Freeman, among other people, and that's great. But I'm probably going to play the clip on this particular episode, so they'll know what we're talking about. But
and they'll be able to compare it and go, that Dr. Dean doesn't even come close.
Dr. Dean, we should have you do some good impressions. I should have you do like a Sly Stallone drop or something.
Oh, I have to get my voice ready for that. Have to get my. I would probably start it with like a Mike Tyson. You know, this is Mike Tyson, and you're listening to one of the most important podcasts in podcast history with my good friend Darren Carter. And if you don't listen to it, I'm gonna break your fucking jaw.
Yeah, that's good. See, something like that. That's good. Do it again. No, do it again. And this podcast is like do some boxing term or something.
Wait, you want me to do it again?
Yeah, just do one real quick, one more time.
Are we on right now?
Yes, we're on.
Oh. All right, I'm going to repeat it. So this is Mike Tyson, and you're listening to one of the greatest podcasts in podcast history, and with my good friend, with my really, 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 really good friend Darren,
my sparring partner,
and sparring partner, who I've kicked the shit out of many times, because he always throws his jab and he leaves it out there. And I counter with the right hand, so he's a really sweet guy and everything. But but the only problem is when he does his Instagram story posts, he's always walking around with a beekeeper's hat. And so listen to the podcast, seriously. Otherwise, I'm gonna come and knock you the hell out.
That's good.
Seriously,
I think people are gonna hear that and really think it's Mike Tyson.
Oh, I don't think so.
All right, let's do Jay Leno. And I'm doing this only because Mike Tyson and Jay Leno sound kind of similar.
Well, Leno is more. This is this Jay Leno, and you should give this a shot. It's Darren Carter's podcast. It's a good podcast, and you should just listen to it. The guy's. It's a good podcast. It's good, good podcast.
All right, for our older listeners, and then we'll move on with the impression. We'll move on from the impressions. I love making people do impressions that don't do impressions. It's like quick, John Wayne. Telling folks to listen to my podcast.
Well,
not bad.
You should listen. You should listen to my friend's podcast. This is John Wayne, and you should. Let me hear you do John Wayne.
Well, here's another one for ya. Whenever I need a podcast to listen to, I listen to the Pocket Party Pilgrim.
Pilgrim.
Do people even know? It's sad, right? Because as time goes on, people stop knowing who certain celebrities are.
Right.
I remember I was at
Chikun, babe.
Hey man, this is Sammy Davis, babe. You know what? There was a previous podcast. If they listened to the one with Flip Schultz, I was recording at the bagel shop, Western Bagel, and one of the employees came in and
name dropping again.
I know. We were talking about some celebrity. He had no idea, and then it reminded me of one time I asked this dude. I go, "Oh yeah, do you know who Johnny Carson is?" And the kid goes, "Yeah, I think he works here on Tuesdays and Thursdays." And I'm like, "Wow!" It's like
that's funny, man. That's sad. I have people to come, to my office and they'll see pictures of me and Springsteen hanging out on the wall, And
Bruce
we're
Springsteen.
not hanging on the wall, but the pictures are on the wall.
Yeah.
And of times I've been backstage with him, and they go, "Who's that guy?" And I go, "That's Bruce Springsteen." And they go, who's that? I mean, I've had 21, 22-year-old kids who've said that. And I just go, "Are you kidding me? You do not know who Bruce Springsteen is?"
Yeah.
And that's sad. That's a sad thing, actually. Johnny Carson. Hi, this is Johnny Carson.
and Thursdays at the bagel shop.
I work Tuesdays and Thursdays at Starbucks in Culver City, and then I.
Yes, then I go to
Yes.
downtown Burbank.
Yes,
You
Johnny.
should bring that up to Bruce. Next time you see him backstage, "Hey, Bruce, you're not going to believe it. People come into my office. They have no idea who you are."
Right, he'll love that. He'll be like,
He'll love
"Well,
that.
things happen, and it is what it is.
Time marches on.
It is what it is. So we'll get him to come around. But
It's so funny because my cousin, he worked at Barnes & Noble in New York. I forgot to tell you this. I never told you this before. And Bruce Springsteen came in and bought books from him.
oh yeah,
And he goes, I go, what was it like, man? What was it like? And he goes, well, the other employees are the ones that were like telling me who he was. And he goes, I was checking him out, like at the cash register or whatever. He goes, I was thinking like, God, my dad would really be excited right now. But like,
yeah.
But I get it though, because I was in high school, and "Born in the USA" is I think the first song I heard that he did. Born in the US. That's the first one I remember.
Yeah.
That was that runaway big album. That was
the one that made him a gazillion dollars. That was the one that really put him on the map. Born to Run is what put him on the cover of Time and Newsweek in October of '75. Which he's the only person that's ever done that feat, where he was actually on the cover of Time and Newsweek in the same week.
Wow.
Nobody's ever done that. And because they were competing magazines. So he's the only one who's ever done that. And I won a contest. in 1984. I was in Maryland. I was in University of Maryland, and it came on the radio. Name the only person in history to ever be on the cover of Time and Newsweek in the same week. And I was like, "Oh, that's Springsteen." And I
That's cool.
called up the DJ back then, the DJ, and I said, "It's Bruce Springsteen." And then I said, October 27th, 1975. He goes, "All right, you didn't need to give us the date." He said, he goes, "Come on down and claim your prize," which was the 3 CD disc live Springsteen from 1975 to 1985.
Wow.
And I went over the Woodrow Wilson Bridge in Alexandria, Virginia, and I went to the radio station and I picked up my prize. And
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
From the prize closet.
It was pretty cool. It was definitely a cool thing.
It's a cool thing when you can win something from the radio.
Yeah.
I remember I called into the Dr. Demento show.
Oh yeah,
I used to love Dr. Demento.
Same here.
Wasn't it the best?
Awesome.
You probably got the real version. Where were you listening when you listened to Dr. Demento?
Probably Queens, New York.
Oh yeah, you probably got.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Was it a 4-hour show or a 2-hour show?
And it was, if I remember correctly, wasn't it Sunday night?
Maybe because different markets are different.
Oh,
See, now I grew up in
okay.
Fresno, California, and I want to say that we only got 2-hour version.
Okay.
And was it the Funny 5 or was it the top 10 or I don't know? But
Oh man, I can't remember.
I think
that.
certain cities got more Dr. Demento than others. I
But
think
he was, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
he was pushing it out of an East Coast, I think so. I think it was East Coast.
I think it was Culver City. Culver City. Remember that?
Are you
The Culver-
serious? He was out here?
Yeah, Culver City.
Oh man,
Culver City.
I did not know that.
The Funny 5. Yeah.
I did not know that.
For the if you guys don't know what Dr. Demento is, he launched Weird Al Yankovic's career. He was, and if you don't
Yeah.
know who Weird Al Yankovic is,
Right.
Come on, you guys. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm pretty sure you're at a state. You love comedy and you love silly stuff, and Weird Al Yankovic is the man.
Yeah.
And I'm in 2 music videos. I'm in 2 Weird Al Yankovic videos.
Are you really?
Yes, I am. If you guys want to look him up, I'm in All About the Pentiums. I have a full head of red hair, sunglasses. I'm in a mosh pit. There's a part where I'm foaming at the mouth, and they put Alka-Seltzer in my mouth. And I'm also in the. I always forget the name of it. I think it's called The Saga Continues or something. It's that Star Wars one. And
Okay.
bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the.
What'd you think about? Did you work with him? Like, were you?
Very nice guy.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who know him, and he's a very religious man. And he's a very religious Jewish, man. I'm a Jew. I can say this.
Oh,
but-
he's Jewish? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, Al Yankovic, like he won't work on like the Shabbos and
No
everything.
way.
Oh no, he's He's, I think, if I remember correctly, Orthodox. If I remember,
Wow,
he's very,
did not know that.
I did not know that.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
He grew up.
Aunt Blabby.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, he's a very religious guy.
He's a sweet guy.
That's what they
man.
say. That's
Love
what
that guy.
I've only heard phenomenal things about him. And
My son loves, he loves Weird Al Yankovic. And when he was a little kid, when he was around 4 or 5, we took him down to Orange County. I could be wrong about the numbers, son, if you're listening. He's like, Dad, you always get the ages wrong. I know, I'm always...
it was last week.
Come on, Dad.
I'm 34.
Yeah, I know, exactly. No, my son is 11 years old. He is 11, and he does the theme song for the podcast. And we got up early and we went down to...
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I know.
That's his son.
Yeah, I know. And we drove went down there and took photos with Weird Al when he had
That's cool. And he
book
remembered you,
release.
of course.
Remembered me, and it was
Yeah.
great, man. It was just a great dude that's like so many good songs. But I remember calling into the Dr. Demento show, and I won a T-shirt for doing a Michael Jackson impression. This would have been around 1985 or 86. And
Let's hear you do it. Look, can you?
Okay. Hi, this is Michael Jackson, and you're listening to one of the most important podcasts
That's good.
in the history of podcasting.
That's really good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Doctor. I told you before, I love the Pocket Party podcast. Thank you.
That's
it.
excellent,
That's it,
man. That's
right?
excellent. That's really cool.
Come on.
That's usually what you... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can't really do the
cut you off
singing.
on-
The singing, people can sing better, so I can't really do the singing, but I can do the...
You can do the
I can
interview
fake
voice.
The singing, the interview voice. Because he always says, like, children. He says, children, and I told you, and
Sort of speaks like Mike Tyson a
my
little bit.
concert is called, This Is It.
Yeah.
Michael gets a little bit of voice, deep sometimes.
Michael was a good guy, I think.
Yeah, I think so, man. His
He
music was
just never
very...
had a childhood.
Yeah, I want to choose to believe that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When people can believe what they want to choose to believe, and I believe that. I think he kind of was misunderstood. Like he was a dude that, like, come on, you're famous when you're like 5 or
5
whatever.
years old.
It's like, come on. So, have you looked up his videos when he was a kid? Of course you have. You were there when he
I was
the-
there. Yeah, I was
you,
watching.
You were
this
living
shit.
him live.
Yeah, I was watching it. Yeah. And
When the
just,
Jackson 5. Oh my gosh, what are some of their songs? I can't think of it right now. Like,
oh baby,
Yeah.
give me one more chance.
yeah, and the other one
They
where
were
it's
great,
like, there's
man.
another good song I'm thinking of that's.
Oh man, there's so many.
Where he holds that note so long, and
I'm trying to think that song.
who's loving you? Who's loving you?
Oh, okay.
Loving you. I can't do it.
They were great,
So
man. The
good.
Jacksons were great. They really were. But it was a ruined family, man. The father, and they did a number on him, man. They really did. But it boggles my mind sometimes that he's gone. It really does.
It's a trip. He was one of the first big celebrities that I can recall where I was like, wow, he is no longer in this earth, this planet. Like I just remember like being blown away. I mean, I guess Elvis was one of the biggest, but I didn't really know him that well. But I did know that when he passed away, that it continued for years, like Cover of Inquirer, of Newsweek, all these different magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really impacted Americans, like Elvis Presley. But I remember as an adult, like Michael Jackson, no longer what?
Especially getting ready for a tour.
Yeah, I know. The way it happened like that.
Yeah, especially getting ready to make a sort of a comeback.
Yeah.
Like he was getting his act together and he wasn't getting in. He was trying to stay off prescription drugs, and bottom line was we found out that wasn't the case. And so you said about a joke a little while ago. You said
I said
you have any good jokes?
I like to I think I might do this, bring this back to the podcast. I don't know if we'll do it or not, but I'm thinking maybe, especially when I have comedians on, like if they have any jokes they've written that week that they want to like put out there on the podcast. You know what I mean?
Is this funny? I just wrote this the other day
what do you
and
got?
I put it on Facebook, and it just hit me. I think I was making a sandwich. I was doing something in the kitchen, and this just hit me. So 2 guys are sitting in a restaurant, and Steve says to this one guy says, "Hey, John, it's so great to see you. I'm glad we got a chance to meet for lunch. What have you been up to?" "Steve, what's happening, bro? Things are good. I'm actually thinking of investing a lot of money in a new invention that's supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread." And with that, the waiter comes by and says, "Would you like some bread to the table?" And Steve goes, "No, I'm off bread."
Right. That's good.
Right. And
I
then
like the idea. Then are they both named Steve? Because that kind of threw me.
Steve and John.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. That's a really good joke. But
I think it's
I
funny-
think you could go further with it once you get it out there. The idea that people are off bread, they're like, "Oh, I'm cutting down my bread. Who eats bread anymore?"
But
Yeah.
the irony is that
Yeah.
he just said it's the greatest invention since sliced bread.
Yeah.
And with that, the waiter comes over and says, "Bread for the table?" And he goes, "No, not for me. I'm trying to get off bread." Right after he just said he's
I
going
love it, which leads into my new joke.
Go
Can I
ahead.
tell you mine? Because speaking of bread, no, because people are, I don't think bread, when it comes to dieting, I don't think bread is the problem. Because think about it, birds, they eat bread and they're skinny. Cows eat grass and they're fat.
Ooh, wow, that's
Right?
that is some heavy stuff.
That is, you should be smoking that legal stuff
That
that
is
they sell now.
Speaking of grass,
Yeah, speaking of grass, yeah, it makes you hungrier.
which will get you fatter.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
But I like that joke. It was just one of those
I think
things
it's
that,
good.
that just, I don't know if it's a joke to do in a stand-up
sliced
room.
bread, or like they're gonna sell like hotcakes and sliced bread or something, and then
That's what will you be having the pancakes? No, I'm laying off the hotcakes.
Would you like some bread for the table?
No,
No,
it's,
thank you.
I just thought of that because I always hear people use. There's a lot of jokes. I'm actually thinking of incorporating an entire portion of my stand-up to expressions. Like a lot of people say things like, "That's it was a fun night, but it wasn't the place was a good restaurant, but it wasn't anything to write home about." And I've always the joke I wrote years ago was, "Who's writing home about a meal they just had in a restaurant? Dear Mom,
Yeah.
went to this restaurant tonight, had the veal piccata. Not going to lie to you, it wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be."
That's funny.
I'll get back to you.
Do that. That's really good. I don't even
I-
know what veal piccata is, but that just
I don't
sounds
even-
funny. It sounds comedic.
The veal piccata.
Yeah, it
You
sounds
know?
like something because it's kind of poetic, like
Right.
"Dear mother."
Yeah,
I wrote a joke similar to that, and it was same thing. It was like how was the hotel buffet, or what do they call it, the breakfast? What do they call it?
Breakfast buffet. Continental breakfast.
Continental breakfast. So
Yeah.
they go, how was the continental breakfast? I go, it was good. Somebody goes,
Belgium was good.
it was good, but nothing to write home about. And you could do the same thing. You could use it if you want.
Right.
You're like,
I have always been fascinated by that expression, nothing to write home about. I wrote the joke probably 25 years ago. It's on my papers about writing home.
yeah.
And
Writing home.
About-
People usually picture writing home back to their mother, but what if you're writing home to like someone else, like a
Well,
roommate?
yeah, well, not yeah.
writing home?
And you're always pictured whenever you're writing home. You always it's always an army scene.
Yes.
He's just been shot down over Guam.
Yes.
Okay, and he's like he's
My
got his
loving
leg up in
mother.
traction.
Yeah.
Dear Mom, you might need to build a ramp.
We
on the
went to the
staircase.
Applebee's. I'd like to talk about
Yeah,
this
went to
restaurant.
the Applebee's. I'm not going to lie to you. The veal piccata was just average. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
But I'll get back to
Or
you.
you could even say like Outback Steakhouse. That way you could say like I had the blooming onion.
I had the blooming
Or is it
onion.
the awesome?
Not going to lie to
blossom?
you. It was just okay.
You know how they have those funny names
Yeah.
for like restaurants,
Yeah.
stuff, food, or whatever.
But,
I had the moons over Miami.
Yeah. And it's always my hammy, H-A-M.
H-A-M.
They're trying to sell you a pork dish.
I want to talk about this. I got one of our listeners.
When do we go on? Is this on?
It's
Oh,
totally I'm
I'm
recording.
kidding. I'm
yeah.
joking.
Yeah. Here comes Morgan. Here comes Morgan Freeman.
This is Morgan Freeman.
Okay, we get the idea. So no, you know what? I want to say how important podcasting is to both the creators and the listeners. I was recently in Wilmington, North Carolina. A big shout out to Chris. I want to say Chris Hickman. I don't have your name in front of you, but Chris drove 6 hours.
Yeah.
He and his wife drove 6 hours from Tennessee to come to the show, and they love the podcast. And he was such a nice guy, and it was great, and it really just shows you how like words can affect people in a good way. There's so much negativity out there, man. That's why I love this. This is our
This kind of forum.
This is our forum. This is our place, man. I got another buddy who's been listening to. He listened to my previous podcast, and he's followed my comedy, my Insta stories, and Instagram and stuff. And his name is Sean. And Sean is big shout out to Sean right now. He's going through a breakup.
Okay.
And he's been writing about it on I see him online, and he might be in our pocket Pocket Party podcast group on Facebook. I'm not sure, but I think he is. But he sent me a message today, and he was just saying how much this podcast
Has helped him.
Yeah. And I get it, because when I'm down and out, man, there's been times like over the years where I've been depressed, and you listen to these podcasts, and it's great because it's like you just hit play. You don't have to carry a conversation. The conversation's already happening, and you're laughing and you're hearing people. And I don't know. I just wanted to, just keep your chin up, buddy.
Keep your chin up, Sean. And if I can just give a tiny input.
Yeah.
I'm a little older than you. I'm probably a little older than Sean. How old is Sean? Do you know him?
Probably late 20s or 30s, I think.
Sean, if you're listening out there, and he's an avid listener. He listens to every one of you. Okay.
I think so, yeah.
I'll
make sure I'll message him.
The one thing I've learned in this life, and I'm 54 years old, going to be 55, God willing, in May, man.
You look great. You look like you're 56.
Thank you very much.
I'm just kidding.
This is Morgan Freeman.
My buddy did that. He always, whenever someone says their age, he always
says 10 years older.
Or just 1 year older, like 45, you look 40. They think
you look 48, man.
No shit.
You're looking good.
No, anyways, you're 54, you said? You do look good, by the way.
I would tell Sean, and anybody this. Sean, I know this is going to sound crazy, man, and this is not a love song radio station, whatever they call that station. You're
listening to the Coast.
Right.
Coast FM.
Your happiness, Sean, in life cannot, and stay with me on this, because this is a lesson that you'll use for the rest of your life. Your happiness cannot be contingent upon somebody else accepting you or not accepting you. So you have to, that's the one thing I have gotten good at in the last 15, 20 years in relationships, is if something doesn't work out and the relationship goes sour, you can't mope around. You go through that period for a couple of days, even a few weeks, where you're like, I miss her. Should I call her? How come she didn't call me? Blah, 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 nah, nah, nah. But the true reality is your happiness in this life cannot be contingent upon somebody else accepting you, or in this case, or even rejecting you. The old expression, if you love someone, set them free. And if it's meant to be, they'll come back. And everything is preordained in this universal energy. And excuse me. And I honestly believe that things are meant to be, and there's nothing you can really do about it. But the last thing you want to do is get yourself into the doldrums, man. Hit that gym when this happens. Hit that, like Darren. I'm not saying you do this out of depression stuff. Hit that. No. I'm saying hit that boxing bag, hit the heavy bag, whatever it is that you do, Sean. But you have to disperse that energy so that you're not walking around
100%,
just completely screwed up.
Get yourself exercise to the point where you're sweating, where there's sweat dripping off you, where you're like, and the natural endorphins will kick in.
Yeah, you'll get that opioid release in your brain. And I know it's a rough word to use these days, opioid. People hear that, but that's really what we're trying to get, is that endorphin opioid release. And just never let your happiness be based on if somebody else is in your life or not. I know it sucks. I know it totally sucks. When you're going through that kind of depression, everyone that's talking to you, I've often said this before, that when you're really depressed and you're messed up in the head, when people talk to you, even right in front of you, it always comes off like, we can help you. You're gonna be okay. It's almost like you're on a drug when people, you don't even hear what people are saying. But just take this as some really good advice, man. I'm probably a little older than you and been around the block a few times, and at some point you have to, I know this sounds crazy, but you gotta start to love yourself, man. And you also have to learn to forgive yourself. You have to learn to forgive yourself. One of the biggest problems that people walk around in this entire life is to forgive yourself. And it took me a long time to forgive myself over some stuff that occurred in my childhood, growing up in my household. So that's all I'm trying to tell you. You'll be fine, and I hope I wasn't too long-winded on that.
Not at all, man. Great advice. Give it up to Dr. Dean. Nice.
This is Morgan Freeman.
I was really depressed one time.
I've suffered with depression most of my life.
Oh, you did, huh? That's
Oh,
right, you told me about
I
that.
don't have any problem talking about it.
Well, I wouldn't say I was really. I'm not like that. I wasn't to that level, but I remember I was. I lost this radio contest, and I was supposed to who was the only guy that was on the cover of
I knew
Time
it.
and
I
Newsweek.
knew that's what you were going to do, man.
And some asshole
Some
driving
asshole
over the
called in and
bridge.
said Springsteen.
I'm joking, but
And that's a guy you should be listening to, Sean, by the way. Nobody can get your head together more than Bruce Springsteen songs if your head's a little messed up right now. It's the truth, man.
You know what's funny? My buddy, I think, shout out to Rems.
Oh, Rems is a fan of mine. Rems
He loves when you're on. He loves when you're on. And he
and Rems, thanks for getting me that patient, by the way.
Oh yeah, but guys,
Didn't
listen.
that guy come in? Yeah, he came in, right? Yeah.
Dr. Dean, if you guys are in some, you want to meet Dr. Dean, not at a comedy show, but if you want to get some private
Chiropractor. I'm a chiropractor.
he's a chiropractor, licensed chiropractor, the real deal.
State of California.
That's right, and great Yelp reviews.
Yeah,
if you're
I'm
ever
in
in
North Hollywood,
if you're ever in
yeah.
Los Angeles, make a trip out, go to North Hollywood, and he's got a
Yeah, but what I was saying is Rems. Some guy comes in and I go, "How'd you hear about me?" And he goes, "On a podcast." And I go,
That's
"Excuse
awesome.
me?"
Really?
I go, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, on a podcast. You work on a podcast with this guy every once in a while." And his one of his fans or relatives, what I don't even know what the deal was, is told me that there's a guy who's a chiropractor, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's so crazy!" And then you called me a couple days later and said, "Oh, by the way, somebody's probably going to be calling you." So I said, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Darren. I should have told you that guy came in." But that's funny. But go ahead.
It's funny. Well, I was going to tell you when on the opposite end, you got to watch out when you are a little bit depressed, or especially when you're heartbroken. Certain musical genres or just songs can put you in a place where you're open up that wound, man.
Yeah. Springsteen has been with me for the journey for the last 40 years. So that I bring him up because we're going back to the days of Sony Walkman, and where there was no such thing as putting 700 songs.
I got to tell you a funny story today. I thought of this. I heard. I listened to when I'm on the road. It's great because I got my Bluetooth speaker and I put on either YouTube, and I just I have a great time in the hotel room, just music's playing and getting ready for the show and going over my stuff and doing a little shadow boxing or whatever I'm doing. And I heard a song in a new way today. You know how you can hear songs from a new perspective depending on where you're at in your life?
Yep.
And it's a great song. It's Bruce Springsteen. I think it's called Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Robin Williams did a parody of it.
Yeah,
It's Elmer Fudd.
Yeah. I'm on fire.
But I was thinking now with how everyone is getting so offended at everything, he's got to be careful that someone doesn't go back and try to be you know what I mean? Because the lyrics of that song, in the song he goes, "I'm driving in my car." Well, do this, Bruce.
I'm kidding.
But he goes, "I'm driving in my car," right? I turn on the radio.
Yep.
And listen, here's where they could get offended, right? I pull you a little. Sing it. How's it go?
I'm pulling you close. You just say no.
See right there.
You say you don't like it.
Uh-oh.
But I know you're a liar. 'Cause when we kiss, fire.
See, I was thinking
So basically, she's saying no, get your hands off of me.
Yep.
You slimy piece of shit.
And he's pulling her in. Come on, you know you like it.
Come on, baby.
When we kiss, it's fire.
When I stick my tongue down your throat, you might think differently.
But no, I was thinking.
Ahoy, matey.
You could almost do I am a rapist. But
You're right.
You could almost do a joke right there, but when we kiss.
Right.
And then right there, boom, I get fired.
Felony.
No, I get fired. I get fired.
Right.
All right, I'm fired, folks.
There's a few songs, actually. It's funny you bring that up because there are a couple of songs that I will take note of them, and when it happens next time. But I've actually heard quite a few Springsteen songs in which there are
Witch Hunt.
No. I love Bruce. I love
kidding.
Bruce.
I thought you were going to say.
And I know nothing was meant by it when he wrote it. But you're talking about songs that are written in the 70s. But I have heard things that I've actually laughed and go, "Oh my God, man! He'd never be able to get away with that lyric, now." But No. To me, there's nobody that can touch Springsteen. So.
I'm joking because I love that song.
Yeah.
In fact, it's kind of romantic, like when what he's saying.
And
really,
the Pointer Sisters did it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's like,
everybody's
it's like
done.
a flirtatious type of thing.
It's a very
like
sexy song, man.
There's like the version that I saw on YouTube had like 1.7 million, and they were like rare footage or rare unseen, whatever. It's out there, but
no, I only have phenomenal things to say about Bruce Springsteen.
But it's just funny how sometimes people will go like on a witch hunt or try to find something and like because it's like the whole come on.
To me, guys like Springsteen is sort of off limits, man, because he has garnered such a respect from just about every community, man. And very few people ever have a bad word to say about Springsteen. You'll get people who Republicans on the right side, on the right, that will say, well, he supported Obama, blah blah blah, and they don't like, but whatever. But for the most part, I mean, Bruce is just a patriotic guy and a great person.
I love Bruce, man. I like. So here's another song that I found. Different artist. It's let me find that one part. Belle Biv DeVoe. Here we go. There's a song called "Do Me, Baby." Have you ever heard of
No.
"Do Me, Baby" or Belle Biv DeVoe? It came out in the early '90s, and so there's a lyric in here. It says, "It's called "Do Me, Baby" by Belle Biv DeVoe," and the lyric it says, "Backstage, underage, adolescent.
Yeah.
How you doing? Fine," she replied. I sighed. I like to do the wild thing. Action took place. Kinda wet. Don't forget. And then they spell out their name. The J, the I, the M, the Y. That's a Jimmy. Why? I need a body bag. Do me, baby.
Yeah, some of the lyrics, man, that people got away with.
That was back when they called condoms body bags and
Body
Jimmy
bag.
hats.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever get into that or not? Like that phrase?
Into
Probably
condoms?
not. You weren't into... you weren't into like that kind of music though in the 90s, were you?
No. I'm still, I'm still a classic rock guy, man. I'm still.
What were you listening to in the 90s? Oh, hold on a second. Wait, William, what's that?
Have a good night.
Oh, you're leaving?
Yeah, just make sure the door closes behind you. You're good.
Okay, awesome.
There's still people here, so the lights will get shut off when they're done in a couple hours.
Oh, perfect. William, thanks, man. How is everything? Good?
Good? Yeah, just
Cool.
one weekend, so I'm good now.
Oh, cool. We'll see you later.
Take care, William.
We're here recording
Be good,
tonight
brother.
at Flappers. That was the manager, William. Great guy.
Great, one of the best.
Fantastic guy.
One of the best.
If you guys are ever in Burbank, come to Flappers and check out the club here. It's great. Good meals,
Yeah.
good crowd, good shows.
No, William's a great guy, man. He's a super, super cool guy.
But yeah, so in the 90s, you weren't into like...
Nah, I was in the 90s. That puts me at 36 years of age. So I was still listening to Bruce and the Stones and the Who and the band and Grateful Dead and
What's the band?
The band. Oh my God, you've got to. I got to get you into the band, folks. You got to comment.
I probably
to him.
know their songs. I probably know it, but...
I pulled into Nazareth.
Oh yeah.
Was feeling about a half past dead, and just need a place where I can lay my head. Sorry about that.
Ooh, Dr. Dean doing some karaoke on the podcast.
Exactly.
That's it's interesting.
Yeah, you gotta
ballsy
get
move
into
to
the band.
It's a ballsy move to name your group The Band.
Yeah.
Like
They were phenomenal, man. The Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner.
I wonder if the band. See, nowadays when you name your group, I feel like you would name it sort of thinking about social media. You know what I mean? Because to call yourself The Band, it'd be really hard to find you, I guess, or even get a name. Like The Band on Twitter, The Band on Instagram. I mean, don't you think like?
Yeah, no, these guys were they were phenomenal, man. You should really start listening to their music. They're phenomenal. That's the documentary, and you should watch the documentary, man. It's like a 3.5-4 hour documentary called The Last Waltz. Very famous movie, man, by Marty Scorsese. He's the director, and it's their last concert as a band collectively. It's phenomenal. It's just about a 3.5 hour documentary. And I'm still trying to get you to watch the 1 hour and 17-minute documentary of Born to Run, the making of Born to Run.
I got it in my queue.
You got to watch that,
I'm
man.
ready.
You got to watch
know.
that.
I just don't have a lot of time to do that. You know what I mean? Like I just
But
don't.
think about the inspiration that you're
But
going
I
to
know, I
get.
know. I
By
am. No,
watching
but listen,
that,
it is on my list.
It's going to carry you. It's going to be a triple back
I'm going to
payback.
do it. I'm going to do it.
You're going to invest that hour and 17.
I know. Whenever I find time to I'm either like working on stuff or just like let me just chill and not do anything.
I know.
It's like,
I know.
But
You're a busy guy, Darren.
and I just never made it the habit of like some guys love to like sit down and watch movie after movie or documentary. I can't do it, man. Like even football, like I was like, I know the Rams are 7-0, and I'm like, yes, I'm a Rams fan now. But it's like, I find myself like DVRing these games and fast forwarding and and then I can't. But you actually take pleasure in like sitting on the couch and enjoying like a nice game.
No, I'm definitely not a couch potato. That's not my that's not my thing. I mean, I sort of work my ass off too.
Yeah. But I mean, you like to
I can
watch.
definitely I like to watch my shows that I got hooked on. If I'm hooked on a show, I will definitely and it's not lying down. It's I'm cooking in the kitchen, and I swivel my big screen television facing the kitchen so that I can watch as I'm chopping vegetables or doing something. But no, I am definitely a viewer. I like to watch stuff. But I also have my own. I have other interests as well. It's not just sitting there and and watching television. But what am I, Peter Sellers and Being There?
I don't get it, man.
You don't get that reference?
I don't get that reference.
You got to watch that. Peter Sellers won the Academy Award for that movie, man. That's a classic film. I think 81, 82 or something. It might be Being There. He plays Chauncey Gardner for those people out there, and he's he's probably what we would call now probably autistic or something. They would probably have called him autistic or Asperger's back now, and there's very little. There's not that much dialogue in this movie, but he wins the award for it for being there, and so they said something to him, and he goes, "I like to watch." That's like the famous line in the movie. They ask him how he became. You have to watch the movie. It's so odd, but yet it was a humongous role for him. Because he was only known as Inspector Clouseau. Chief Inspector Clouseau.
Was that from the Pink Panther?
Yeah. I am Chief Inspector Clouseau. Yeah, what a bunch of movies those were. See, those were great days. You're probably a little young. You're 7 years younger than me, I think.
Yeah.
So I used to go to the movies, and that's.
I love a good movie, though. I do love a good movie. A good movie that really takes you out of it, and you're like.
The Pink Panther. One of the greatest lines in the Pink Panther. He's strolling along, and he sees a guy on the street with a cup, and I guess the guy's playing fiddle or whatever the hell he's playing. And he goes, and he sees the dog, and he goes, "Does your dog bite?" And the guy stops playing, and he goes, "No, he does not. Everything's in Paris. Everything's and he goes to pet the dog, and the dog just tears at him, man. Just starts engulfing his hand. And he goes, "I thought you said your dog does not bite." He goes, "That is not my dog." It's such a great. That was such a funny. What's the word?
Comedy?
No. The way I said that, no, Darren, not that. No, that was such a funny enterprise of movies. Like, what do they call it when
trilogy?
Trilogy.
Yeah.
That was such a
genre.
Yeah. This is like I'll take genre for 200.
Yeah.
No, that was such an amazing genre. That's something. Are you a Pink Panther guy? I
remember the cartoon when I was a kid.
Oh, I love the cartoon.
You know what's funny is that it still holds up. That song really. Whenever my son is like
playing the piano,
it's hilarious because he'll sneak out of his room. Like we're like, "Austin, go to your room and do your homework." And then when he finishes or whatever, then he acts like he's like sneaking around the house, like tiptoeing, and it always makes us laugh when he like puts on a costume and he tiptoes, and then he goes up to the piano and he's like.
It's great stuff, man. It's great, and Peter Sellers was brilliant.
I think it was Henry Mancini, right? That did
Henry Mancini is the composer, is the musician, and but those were great films, man. I mean, just just absolute slapsticky humor, but funny stuff. Those were good times, man. And I forgot how we got off on the tangent of Peter Sellers. So,
songs, lyrics, things that meant something that now you take it. I mean, you know what? There was a oh wow, is it Jambalaya? The Hank Williams song, the original.
Yeah.
Oh my, oh how much jambalaya?
Right.
Down the bio.
right.
There's a lyric in there where it says something about oh be gay, oh because back then it was, I mean, that meant happy, but now
Right.
today it's like it means something totally different.
Right.
Like, it's interesting how things
Now it means sad.
yeah. It's weird how things take on a different meaning, you know? Like, my buddy just tried to do a bunch of colleges. He did a showcase, and he said he got banned. They said that he was misogynistic because he would do...
Are you serious?
Yeah, because his act, compared to, like, what the kids are going through now, like, they're almost, like, not ready to laugh. They just want to find something wrong.
Well, you know, Jerry Seinfeld won't play colleges anymore. Jerry won't play. Not that he needs the money. He's playing the nice arena, nice theaters, the 3,500 to 5,000 seaters. But no, he won't go on a college because it's become ridiculous. They sit there with a scorecard.
Yeah, he did some joke about, my buddy did some joke about his girlfriend has a nice booty. They said that was misogynistic.
Oh my God.
He did something. He said like he was in his Toyota and these girls, they go, "Are you an Uber?" And he goes, "I know it sounds super creepy, but I was uber horny." So I was like, you know what? Tonight I will be your Uber.
Wow.
And they said that sounded kind of rapey,
Oh my
and it's just like, so he got banned. He not only did he not get the gigs, they were offended, and I'm like, wow, dude,
we have become a very, very an interesting. We become a group of pussies, man. We really are, man. I hate to say it, and I know that's the derogatory term. Of course, you can't even say that term.
Yeah.
But no, we really have. It's like lighten up, folks, man. Lighten up. Not everything is meant to hurt.
Yeah.
You know, it's some things are just meant to.
By the way, the building's making a weird noise right now.
For those of you that are hearing this, I think we're being invaded by aliens on the roof.
I wonder if the sound picks
that happens quite a bit, actually, and it happens when with comics are on stage. I think it's something to do with the air conditioning. But do you hear it? Is it affecting?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
I hear it, but it's.
But no, come on, man.
It sounds like a bunch of goblins up there.
I just watched Bill Maher's 25th anniversary special on Friday night. And he, everything he was saying about political correctness, it's such bullshit. I mean, they sit there now in comedy clubs with a scorecard, like you're at a baseball game. All you need is like a little golf pencil.
Yeah.
And they sit there and go, well, he body shamed. He body shamed on one joke.
I know. I even thought about that with that joke I said about the birds eat bread. They're skinny. The cows eat.
Somebody out there will give you a hard time that you shouldn't have said that about birds. Birds can't pick and choose what they eat. They're fed those crumbs.
I know. I just, you know what?
Those breadcrumbs are fed to them.
I know. Think about Hansel and Gretel. They used to leave breadcrumbs, right, to get back to their home.
Right, to get back. So it's just
that was offensive.
That's offensive.
You were feeding birds bread.
Yeah. And cows? How dare you talk that way, that cows are fat?
Well, they are, though.
But still, there might be a cow out there that doesn't feel right about the way it looks. So it's absolutely ridiculous. But we have become...
I will say, as a redhead one time, I did watch a comedian, and he did this whole bit about redheads, like making fun of them. And I was actually... I'm not going to say I was offended, but I just didn't feel good about it. He was like... he went deep on it. He was like, the redheads with their eyelashes are blonde. It's just creepy as hell. They got freckles on their face. I mean, he was saying some... I was like, God, he's describing me to a T. Like, it was like... The way they're sunburned, they're not human. I mean, he was going like...
They're not human.
I know. He was like... It was kind of... I was like... You know what I mean? Like,
That's funny.
I was just like, oh, I just didn't want to hear it, though. So I didn't...
That's funny, man.
But I didn't want to, like, write a letter or nothing.
I don't know, man. It
did hurt my feelings a little bit. I was like, but I mean, I'm a grown man, but I was still like, it's weird to, like, I'm just saying, like, to be in the wings, and like having a person on stage saying, and everyone's laughing and roaring, yeah, they have no eyelashes and no eyebrows. They burn easy. They're what do you say? There's a reason there's 2% of them. They should be extinct. I mean, he was going deep.
Oh my God.
He was like saying how like because some sperm banks don't want, or maybe it was just one. It made the news a while ago.
Yeah,
They won't
they don't.
accept
Right.
From Reddit, and I was just like, he was just going like point by point, and I'm thinking,
You're thinking to yourself, I don't know if I'm supposed to be alive.
exactly. Also, and for that case, I took it extra personal because I'm like, motherfucker, I'm next. Okay.
Oh, you had to go on next?
Yeah.
Oh, then
I was the headliner.
Right, but you must have destroyed with some opening line.
I don't think I even addressed it. I was just like,
folks, I'm sorry I was late. I was busy donating sperm.
donating sperm. You know how hard it is to get a bank to take this?
Right, at midnight.
At midnight. Yeah, but that's the only
that's-
time I can go out because I get sunburned during the day.
Right. Just keep going,
The last
man.
thing I want to see is a guy with ginger with a boner.
Oh man, you could have rode that wave. So
You know what's kind of cool though in a weird way? Like now, like I shave my head. People don't even know. I'm
no, I have
ginger.
I would not even have known.
I kind of don't even bring it up now. It's like I think it's kind of weird, guys. Listen, if you are a redhead, God bless you, and I love being a redhead. But I will say this: if you ever want to be not a redhead anymore, shave your head, and all of a sudden you kind of see like people kind of react different to you now. They're like, they don't really think you're. I don't know. It's weird. They definitely have. People have strong emotions about red hair on a man.
It is. Yeah, it is interesting.
Some people do.
Yeah,
You know,
it is an interesting.
like women.
Is it really 2%? 2 out of 100
That's
of
what I
one?
read, or something, 2 to 3%. But
Wow.
like women before, I think there's a certain thing with redheads, like they're nerds or they're geeks or they're. It's mostly negative, I would say. You know, more comical, like as far as sexual. When you were a male dancer, were there any male redhead dancers?
No, there was never.
Exactly, because we don't get tan, so right away that's kind of puts us out of the game. You know, right? I mean,
Right, that's true.
It's like being tan is a big part of being a stripper, right?
Like, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you like going to the beach, or you have no affinity for it?
You know what's funny? I don't really, especially just to lay around on a towel. Like, there's no reason for it. It's like,
Oh, I love laying in the sun.
I mean,
man.
it does feel good though. I when I was a kid, I would. I did.
Right.
I have done it.
I don't go high sun. I like the sun at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when I go to Malibu Beach. It's like 3:30, 4 o'clock. I don't go. I don't know. I talk to the guys that are next to me at the beach.
Yeah.
Because I have like a group of beach bum friends that keep an eye on my stuff. Well, because I bring the weights. I bring my 2 10-pound dumbbells to the beach, and I walk on the shoreline for about 2.5 to 3 miles with 10-pound weights. And it's great because I get my back suntan. I get my front facing when I go one direction, and then when I go hit the halfway point and turn back, I get it both ways. So it's much better than sitting on a chair.
Yes.
So I'm getting a workout, and I have these beach bum hippie friends of mine that are total. They're as dark as this color of the table from laying in the sun for 40 years, and they keep an eye on my stuff. And when I say to them, like, "What time do you guys get here?" and it's like now 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they go, 9:45.
Wow.
And I go, "You've been sitting out here for 7 hours and 15 minutes, and they just love it, man." So there are definitely some people. I'm a beach lover. I like Malibu Beach, man. But
when I'm in the sun like that, like the beach, I definitely like put.
You burn, huh?
I put that beekeeper's hat on. And put the whole,
But you definitely burn, huh? And
Yeah.
your son's not redhead.
No, he's darker hair, and he also gets a little bit of a tan.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's good. He's
You
good to
definitely
go.
can't get a tan.
Not really. I mean,
won't.
look at my left arm. This is as tan as I get.
Okay.
All
right.
But I remember as a kid, I remember putting, laying out in the sun in the backyard, putting the radio on. I love those memories. But then I also remember getting burnt.
Yeah. I know what it's like to get sunburn. It's
weird though. Like, let me just tell you real quick. As a redhead before, they were like, they thought I looked like Bozo or Richie Cunningham or Opie Taylor, like all these people that
Wow.
No ladies were really attracted to those people. But as soon as I shaved the head and you start doing a few push-ups, I've gotten Bruce Willis and Vin Diesel.
Yeah, man.
It's wild.
Yeah, you do. You look great, man. Some people can work the bald, the number one, whatever you want to call that blade.
Yes.
Some people can. I don't
think you could do it, man. If you ever wanted to do it, you could probably do it.
I think I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I have enough hair to get the transplants, Okay. Have we ever discussed the Yeah, I think we've discussed transplants on.
It's funny. Can I just tell you something? It's funny when you're a guy who shaves his head, you want other people to be bald too.
Right.
You just do.
Right.
So like I'm like, come on, Dean, just shave it. You know? But then if I get it though.
I still have enough hair where, like, my brother is completely bald now. Okay, and he went your way. In other words, he went down to a 1, whatever you want to call that.
I actually take the guard off. I take the guard off the electric razor and just shave it. I do it every 2 to 3 days.
Okay,
yeah.
So my brother has finally given in and said, "Screw this already with the 3 on the side." And he said, "Enough is enough," and he did it, and he looks fantastic with it. But I have said to my brother on telephone calls when we talk about possible transplants and with advice and stuff that I feel like I'm going to be doing. I've said to him, "Hey man, I just want to let you know, if I was you and only had 21% of my hair, okay." Because that's the guy who ends up, buzzing the head because he goes, "What? I look ridiculous. Let me get rid of this 21%. Enough is enough already."
Yeah.
Okay. But I have about 77 to 81, 82% of my hair. Okay. I mean, seriously, look at me. I mean, would you agree? Or
Yeah. Let me see.
Long pause. This is Morgan.
Look down. Look down even more. Look down even more. Yeah.
I've got about 77%.
I probably had that same because
Seriously? You
I don't know.
think
Maybe
you
not.
have the same amount as
I
me?
don't know. Let's have a hair contest.
Why don't you,
Look,
why don't you grow it out for like a year?
I had that hair on
a year. This is Morgan Freeman.
You had that. I don't know. Like, but you see, but then again, my wife used to make this joke, which is true. Like, I used to use the Rogaine.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What are you doing trying to save red hair?"
Right. And
but your hair's dark, so you kind of.
My hair's dark.
Yours is better hair.
Yeah,
it's better.
Right, that's correct, man.
Yeah.
And so I have had this. Let me tell you something. If I had my brother's here's what happened. My brother got my mother's father. Now you know the bald gene is on your mother's
mom's
father.
dad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got my father's hair, my father, and my brother got my grandfather's hair. My grandfather was a cue ball.
You wouldn't also get your mom's dad's hair?
No, I got the hybrid. I got a blend because I'm looking at the results. My grandfather was a cue ball, okay? Total cue, all right? And my brother's a cue ball, okay? I am not a cue ball. I mean, come on, let's be honest, okay? I mean, I went to see...
So you're thinking about getting the hair transplant?
Yes, I went to see him, and you know the joke that we have that...
Well, tell the people.
Okay.
First-time listeners.
So I have been contemplating hair transplants now for the last 10 years, and I have to be honest with you. I'm glad that it's been a contemplation thing because...
it's getting better each year, right?
Bingo, you just said the magic words, because the operation that I was supposed to get, the surgical operation I was supposed to get 3.5 years ago was the one in which they slit the back of your scalp from ear to ear, 8 inches, okay?
Yeah.
And they pull out the scalp and they extract all that hair on that strip. And then they take the 2 pieces that are, now blood, bleeding, and then they give you they sew that up. And so you're getting almost like a
facelift.
A facelift, okay? So what happened was, the technique now, and I just went to see the guy, Dr. Ziering, for those people who are interested, on Sunset Boulevard and 9200 Sunset, and he's pretty much the world-renowned guy. And we're lucky because he was smart enough to come to Hollywood.
How do people find him one more time? What's his name?
Dr. Ziering, Ziering, Ziering Medical Hair Transplants, whatever, and 9200 Sunset Boulevard, West Hollywood. And he's the guy, and I don't care how many times Matthew McConaughey denies this. Matthew, you can reach out to us if you ever hear this or anybody hears this that's friendly with him. Matthew has denied this on every single show he's ever been on about having hair. But I know that this is the guy that fixed Matthew McConaughey's hair.
Just so we know, this is just your opinion.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong opinion, and it's sort of backed by a little bit of some people I know. Okay, because if you look at Matthew McConaughey years ago, Matthew McConaughey was losing his hair. If you look at the old films that he was in, now he has the craziest full head of hair on the planet. And so I sort of know through the grapevine kind of thing that there's been some work done. And that's great. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Women go every single day to get their breasts done. Okay? Here's the thing. What's the taboo about guys don't want to let anybody ever know that they had hair work done? That you weren't born with this lion's
so
head of
stupid,
hair.
right?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Girls are going out and getting 450, 500 cc's of silicone in their breast. They can't even turn the steering wheel of their car anymore sometimes because they're so big.
That's crazy.
Okay.
And if you're one of these girls, send some photos in.
So
tag Dr. Dean on Instagram.
What I'm saying is that it's okay for girls to do this. It's okay for girls to get Botox. It's okay for girls to reverse the clock on them and to make themselves look good and to get whatever breast implants, calf implants, whatever girls do, ladies.
By the way, guys, it's the stupidest. I can't even
stupidest
imagine
thing.
guys getting calf implants.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's dumb.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Like, have anybody ever looked at a guy? I mean,
Absolutely
I have good calves, so maybe I feel that way. Yeah, so do you. It's like we're because we do a lot of stairs.
Right, we do
go
the hills and right.
But I've also just been blessed with good calves. I don't know if it's because I was riding bicycles since I was a kid and
whatever.
But whatever though, I've never felt like my calves are inadequate. Right. It's like you just do some leg work.
Exactly. So getting back to the hair,
but no girls are ever like, I like his calves.
Right.
Who cares?
No, but the hair.
It's
a taboo. Yeah. Guys don't ever want to explain. Let me tell you something, man. I always take the reverse psychology. If I do hair transplants, I'm going to put it live on Instagram. I'm going to run it live because because what happens is when you don't call attention to it, everybody looks at you and looks at your.
Yeah.
They look at as they're looking you in your eyes, they're looking up over at your forehead and going, "This guy's had some work done." Okay, it's So I don't really see what's so bad about it, but I do get a kick. I went to get the consultation. I don't know if we spoke about this on the last. On a last podcast. I don't think we did, actually. I think we spoke about it in the street.
I think we did a video.
Yeah. And
follow me on Instagram, official Darren Carter, to see all the Insta stories I do with Dr. Dean.
That's pretty funny stuff
Funny stuff. And I'm saving some of them, and I think what I need to do is do a compilation on YouTube.
Yeah, it's good stuff. We have some good stuff, you and I. But so I went to see this guy, and he told me what he can do for, it was like $15,000. It was a little expensive, but he said I can get you basically a full head of hair. And I told him I don't want to look like I'm in high school. I want to look like a man who is receding with a full head of hair. Okay, receding line with a full head of hair. So he said I can do that. Blah 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 blah. So,
well, what's the high school look where they bring
when your hair,
it's too weird. Where it looks,
well, according to the theory, according to Da Vinci, and all his measurements of the human body, your hair is supposed to be 4 fingers from pinky to index above the brow, right, the bump right here, the frontal.
Everyone do that right now as you're listening.
Okay, this is where your hairline is supposed to be.
So what your pinky is
right there.
Do your pinky again.
Take your pinky to the brow of your eyebrow, the top of your eyebrow where that bone sticks out.
Yeah.
Okay, the frontal bone. And that's where your hairline should be, the 4th finger up, which is the...
Oh, that's where I feel the stubble.
Yeah, that's where your index finger...
I'm normal
that's according to Da Vinci. Just like your foot is the length of your elbow to your wrist.
Do it again.
Okay.
Let me see.
So here's where he wants my hair to be, and I told him I don't like that idea. This is too high.
Yeah, you have a high forehead.
That's too high, man. I want to have it down. I want to put the hair here, not here. This is too low, man. If we go low like this, I'm going to look like I'm 11 years old. Okay? So I told him I want to look like a 54-year-old man that has had hair trans and not
pull the mic down when you laugh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That has I want to look like a man that has had hair transplants.
Pull the mic down when you laugh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
When you laugh, just pull the mic.
That's
hilarious.
Too funny.
Can you imagine a guy walking? Imagine if you were 26.
Give me the hair transplant look.
I want to look like a 54-year-old man who's had
hair work.
Hair transplants. That's hilarious.
That's very funny. And so
you can pull it up just when you laugh.
So I told the guy, I said, I don't want it to be too low on my forehead because then it just.
What if other people did that? I want to look like a 62-year-old woman who's had breast implants.
Right. Hey, we can do that, man. We can definitely. We'll just take these balloons.
I don't like. You're right. When I used to see people with like hair pieces, that was like
that's the most ridiculous thing is the hair piece
and the weave, because then you're constantly like you're looking like what's going on.
Well, the weave you got to constantly service,
and then they do the bangs and shit. You know?
Right. So I said, you know something, I'll get it done. But the funny part about this is what happens is he quotes me the 15,000, and what they've been doing now ever since I met him, and trust me, this guy is not hurting for business.
Yeah.
This guy is doing very well. He's got offices in London, South Beach, Miami. He's a heavy hitter. And he even said to me, he goes, Dean, I like you, man. You're also a doctor, so I'm cutting you a break. This is a $22,000 job. He goes, I'm giving it to you for 15. So I said, all right, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So what they've been doing is apparently on slow days, they call me and they'll say to me, hey, Dean, it's Larry from Ziering Medical. Hey, Larry, what's happening? How you doing, buddy? Listen, can you get down here in like the next 2 hours or something like that? Well, why? What's that? Well, we can cut you down to 10,500 if you get down here right now. I go, wait a second, I'm on, you're talking full surgery right now. I said, it's an 8-hour surgery. He goes, I'm online at Whole Foods right now, and you want me to do surgery? And
That's hilarious.
They're just calling me up just to come, if you come down now, we'll take 4,500 off. I go, come down now, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm waiting online for coho salmon.
Have you gone down there at all and taken up one hair transplant yet or no?
No, they don't do it that way. No, you got to go there about.
So once it starts, you got.
Oh no, it's 7:00 in the morning.
So like, come down and like.
It's 7 in the morning, and it's an 8-hour process.
So when they say come down now, we'll knock off a couple grand.
Right.
Like.
It's usually like 9 in the morning when he calls it. Can you get here by like 10:30? And that means they'll stay in the office till about 8:00 at night.
Wow! And how many times would you have to do that?
It's one time.
What? Really?
Yeah, you do the treatment
all in one
time.
day.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. It can become as who's the sports announcer? Buck, Jim Buck.
Yeah, Buck. Yeah. I always see him trending on Twitter.
He's
Buck,
the one.
Something. Joe Buck.
Joe Buck.
Yeah.
Joe Buck is the one that got addicted to hair transplants. He did a whole story about it. You know, he got addicted. He couldn't stop going.
How do you get addicted to that?
He fell in love with every time the treatment was done. Oh my God, let me go one step further. Let's get more. Let's
hair.
get more. I want to look.
Wow.
And he got addicted to it. But
I'll have to look him up.
But he had something very strange happen to him. You see, when I'm going to get it done, I'm going to have what's known as a local anesthetic. They're going to just numb the head. Mm-hmm. They put him to sleep.
Wow.
And in putting him to sleep, he had a bad reaction to the anesthesia, and it paralyzed and almost destroyed his vocal cords. So he couldn't talk for like 2.5 months or something. He couldn't speak.
But he's like,
I've got one full head of hair that I love.
Don't ever smoke.
Yeah.
So
Ladies, come run your fingers through my hair.
I started out smoking one cigarette a day. And that's what happened, man. So he got addicted to it. They claim that you're going to need 2 to 3 operations, and because the theory is that when you do it as a young man in your 30s or 40s, when most men are dating or they're not married yet or whatever, and they give a shit about how they look, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care as much now. I'm 54 years old. I don't really care, but I would like to take one last shot at Hollywood with film and television. And I think with a fuller head of hair, I can market myself a little easier. Although most people now are telling me characters are what's in right now. Character actors are the ones making the money.
And you're more of a character actor.
And
now.
I'm more of a character guy
and also
now.
Minorities. So I'm thinking you should get maybe like some Afro style hair in the front.
What am I, Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction?
Can you imagine, like,
if I got an afro?
Yeah. No, just in the front.
Hold up a sign, John 3:15.
Yeah. No, just only in the front. You know where you need the transplant.
Oh,
and then you take a 23andMe, and then you're like, "Come on, guys, book me."
Right.
I'm a little bit ethnic.
So, they claim you might need 2 or 3 operations, but those are for people that are still going through hair loss.
Yeah.
I don't really lose hair.
So what happens? Because I know, now don't some people get the transplants and then they continue to get bald, and so now it looks
Well,
weird?
that's the theory. The theory is that when you're in your 30s, it's a sort of a stupid move to do because, see, if I do it now, I'm not losing hair on the pillow every morning like I did 22 years ago, 20 years ago, 17 years ago, 18 years ago. I don't
Sunday, Monday,
yesterday, 8 hours ago,
right before we hit record,
right on the chair right now. So
this guy's bald. This guy is so in denial.
I'm shedding as we speak.
If your head was a season, it would be autumn.
No, you folks out there, you can go on Instagram and you can see that I have a decent. Yes, some of the stuff that Darren shoots of me definitely makes me look like I'm experiencing early chemotherapy. But no, I if you look at me right now, it looks like I have a halfway decent head of hair. No?
Yes. I would, for me personally, if I were to be 100% honest,
go ahead.
You do have good hair. I would make your hair shorter. I would go with a shorter hairstyle.
Well, yeah,
because it makes your forehead looks kind of high right now.
Right,
but
correct.
Not now, but you know what I mean. Sometimes when you poof it up a little bit.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
But you do have the hair though, so it's like. You're right. It's a tough spot because it's like you could either.
That's why exactly. That's why I want to opt to fill it in, man. And so,
would you go with the shorter haircut or no?
I tried it, man. I shot 3 episodes of a Nick Swardson show. Nick hired me for Pretend time, and I played a cop.
But you're older now.
I am older.
You know what I mean? So I think it would be better. Give it a shot.
Literally buzz it?
No. You don't have to buzz it, but just.
Oh, I've got that. When I go to Supercuts, I go Supercuts.
It's so funny.
When I get my $18 haircut,
the first time I had you on here, I was like, he's a wealthy bachelor because you are. You have a lot of free time and get extra money. You don't have to, but
I have an apartment that Minnie Mouse.
When I go to Supercuts, no, but it's true. Supercuts is good, by the way.
I like Supercuts. I get a good haircut from them.
There was an old joke they used to be like I remember a comic was on stage and he'd pick somebody in the audience. He goes, "Hey, I didn't know Supercuts had a drive-through."
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah. Okay, so.
Tim Conway Jr. used to call it. I go to super disappointments.
Right. No, the thing I have with Supercuts is the only place where when you get your hair cut, you only have to when you go home. You only have to spend another hour on it and fixing it up. I
remember when I used to sign in and. I used to go to Fantastic Sam's.
Right.
You have to sign in your name, and your phone number, and they'd ask you, "How did you find out about us?" And I was like, "I don't know. I heard a guy out front complaining."
Oh, that's good, man.
He was like,
that's
"Fuck
good.
You and your $8 haircuts."
Right.
And I was like,
right.
$8.
Fantastic Sam's. But this is
how about Mediocre
this
Marys?
Is Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
So at 54, I noticed the hair loss is less. So I'm not experiencing as much hair loss. So
because you're running out of hair to lose, buddy.
Exactly. No. Come on, man.
I'm joking.
I gotta disagree with you on this.
That is kind of funny though, right? If a guy's like, I've noticed that I used to lose a lot of hair. Now I hardly ever lose any because there's hardly any left.
No, folks, check me out on Instagram. All right, look at my photos. You'll see I have a decent head of hair.
You do.
I got about 77% of my hair. I've lost about.
Who comes up with this percentage?
I do. Every night I count my hairs. I count my hairs that I have, and then I count the follicles that I see.
Yeah.
And I make one the numerator and one the denominator.
What would Da Vinci say? Like how many fingers?
So I count my hair before I go to bed.
When you're feeling good, you're like, it's 82% there. When you're feeling not so good, it's 77%.
77.
Yeah.
No, 77. That's
dude. We could do a Twitter poll. I could literally take a picture of you. That's kind of mean though. I don't want people. I don't like. I feel like now the world's too mean.
They can go look at me on Instagram.
You could do a poll. You could be like, how bald am I? And then you could put like on Twitter. You could put like 50%, 75. No, or you know what I mean? Like do the percentages, and people will actually vote. You know.
Oh, I know they will.
Are you?
I know. I'll pass on doing that. But they can look. They can look on Instagram and check out my photos and see.
I'll pass on doing. I know. Who would put
I'll pass on taking I'll pass on taking the bald poll.
I know.
How bald am I?
I would never do that too. Like, talk about being vulnerable. Like, guys, how fat am I? And you just like take my shirt off. It's like,
Right.
I mean, guys. Yeah.
But no, so what happened? I even said that to the doctor when he said, there is a possibility that you might need two or three. I said, no, I'm one and done. I said, I'm one and done. I'm doing this one time. I said, fill it in. Here's your money, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And so, here's your money. You said you can fill in. You said you can fill in the entire crown, the top, and you can fill in the line here. And that's it. It's good. And if I they claim
that's awesome.
They claim for every 100 they claim that for every 100 hairs you put in, you're going to get a 92% growth. About 8 hairs out of the 100 are not going to make it.
I thought you were going to say they claim for every 100 hairs they put in, you're guaranteed to get at least one chick to go on a date with you.
Right. No, for every 100 hairs that they throw in from the back of your neck. Okay.
You're guaranteed at least.
I was going to get him done from my pubes. I was going to say, "Can you?"
So gross. What were you gonna do?
Then I would look like Pulp Fiction.
Oh my god.
Then I would look like Samuel Jackson. So, but no, that I don't know if you know that. That's what they're doing now. There's a guy in Redondo who doesn't take it from your head. He now takes it from your chest.
From your chest?
They're taking chest hair now. But I don't know if I.
Really?
Yeah, he's taking it from the chest. That's got to be another painful fucking thing.
Oh yeah, because it's like when they
it's like the 40-year-old version.
Yeah.
So I thought about.
But haven't you ever? I don't know if you've ever. Because I cut my own hair. Like it's weird. Like the hair when it's on your head and like you shave it, it's or even when you get a haircut. I remember like looking at it on the floor. It looks like a totally different color almost.
Yeah.
Why is that? Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed stuff like that.
And I noticed my chest hair is a different color than my hair on my head.
Yeah, it's a little bit, and because I asked the guys, I asked Ziering, I said, couldn't you theoretically take it from my pubes? And he said, yeah, I could.
That's so gross. Why would you even bring that up?
Because I've heard that that's what they can do.
I know, but just because
I said to him, can't you take it from my legs? I said, can't you take it from my calves?
No. Here's the joke.
What's the joke?
You're like, doctor, can't you take it from my pubes? And he's like, why would I do that? You're like, because people say I'm a dickhead.
Oh, okay. No, well, you know the joke I have about with my mother. I have that's a bad segue. You're talking about dicks and pubes, and I go, the joke I have about my mother.
God.
No, but no. So we'll get to that joke in a second. But I
just tell the joke real quick.
The joke is, I do this on stage. I love this joke. I go, my mom is a really, really glass full kind of person. She's really totally optimistic and just always positive, always in a good mood. I said the other night,
Hi, Mom.
Mom loves Darren. She even. Oh, by the way, she sends regards. I told her we were doing this tonight. So I looked at my mom, and we're getting ready to go out to dinner, the whole family, and I happen to be in the bathroom of their home, and it's got the twin sinks, the husband and wife sinks, and I'm, just cleaning up and doing some last minute things with my shirt and stuff, and brushing the teeth, and my mother is doing her makeup, and I look at her and I go, Ma, I look in the mirror, and I go, Ma, look at me, 54 years old. I'm losing it. It's getting a little thin here now. It's starting to get a little thin. And my mom looks at me back in the mirror and she says to me, you are not losing your hair. No one in the Larit family is going bald. What's happening is your forehead is expanding. Okay? And then I thought to myself, with that logic, I said, Ma, with that kind of logic, I can't wait till my pubes start to recede. I love that joke.
Yeah.
And that gets great.
Something else will be expanding.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it gets great laughs when I do it. And you can actually see that joke on my Instagram page, and you'll see the response it got.
Well,
what's up?
We're not that we're running out of time, but I do want to keep this moving. Let's talk about
pyramid schemes.
Pyramid schemes, man. You were telling me a story.
I told you a story that you were interested in.
Yeah,
you found interesting.
I do have to use the restroom. Do you want to start the story? And
let's take a break. We can take a break, right? Oh, okay.
No.
You can't do that?
I don't. Can you talk? Do you think you could keep yourself occupied for 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Is that how long it's going to take me?
Most urinations are usually about 20 seconds, 30
What would
seconds.
Da Vinci say about this?
Da Vinci would put his fingers up against your penis.
Okay.
And say,
You'd measure it, the little creep that he is. Okay, so start the story, and I'll come back in.
Darren was, listen, I'll be honest with you folks, he just took off. I'm not a huge fan of this guy. I actually find him to be very condescending. No, I'm kidding. Darren and I are great friends. Darren, I had told Darren this story, just stream of consciousness. It was just something I started talking about. I think we were eating it at like Bob's Big Boys or something late at night. And we were talking about money or something came up. And I said investments and stuff and schemes and all this stuff. And I told him that I got taken in 1995. 1995, I got taken on a Mont Blanc pen pyramid scheme. And I lost $8,000. I gave them $10,000, and this was the scam. It was a pyramid thing, so I was told. And what happened was, the theory was that a good friend of mine beat me for the money. I don't speak to him anymore, but a good friend that I grew up with beat me for the money. So he says to me, hey man, you want to make residual income for the rest of your life? And I said, of course. And at the time I was in chiropractic school and I could use any kind of money that I can get while being a student. So he says, okay, give me $10,000 and what me and a consortium of friends are doing is we are buying about $1 million to $1.5 million Mont Blanc pens, which are very expensive pens. Except these were knockoffs. These were knockoff pens made in Japan, and the Mont Blanc pen is about $150, $200 in real. Darren is back. So listen. By the way, the stuff I said about him, don't tell him. So the Mont Blanc pen is the pen that goes for about $150 to $200. It might even be more now. I have no idea. And very high class pen is the kind of pen you give to somebody for graduation of college or whatever. Blah blah blah.
Do you think people still do that? Do they still do the?
I never understood the whole pen and pencil set. I never understood that people gave you that.
Especially
What
now,
a pair of
like a
what
computer.
a pair of balls to give you. You spent 4 years in school. Somebody gives you a pen.
Yeah.
Okay. The last fucking thing I want is a goddamn pen in my hand, man. It's all.
Wow! I just Googled it.
Mont Blanc. How much
pen.
are they going for?
Oh my God!
How
Look
much?
at this. Look right there. Tell the people what you see.
Oh shit! They're $440. Holy shit! Okay, so here's the story, folks. It was about 150 back then in 95. In 1995, an old friend of mine, I'm just rehashing this real quick for Darren.
Dude, real quick, I'm sorry. And then I'll turn this phone off because I really don't want to just be reading the phone. But
yeah.
You're not going to believe this. Look
how much do they go
Look how
to?
much this one is. I don't know, but oh my God.
Let me see.
They just keep getting higher and higher. Look how much they're charging for that one.
$4,600? Mont Grappa? Oh my God! What?
Now look at this one. There's one right next to it. Look at this one.
Got to be $6,000.
Nope, higher.
$7,000 for the Namiki, but that's not Mont Blanc, right?
I don't know.
All right, so making a long short, what happened
Well, maybe
was...
what you could do with these pens is like spend the $7,000 on that.
You get hair transplant.
No.
Or fill in.
Yes.
Fill in your head.
Just draw little dots
Right,
on your
draw
head with this
dots.
$7,000 pen.
Right.
Why would it? Is it just a?
That's ridiculous.
I don't get it. Is that when you just have so much money? You're like, you've got the,
Right. That's
you've got the
exactly
Rolex.
that's exactly
you've
what
got
happens.
that way.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You're a
Like,
moron.
When you see me with this pen, like I don't even know what kind of pen this is. A paper.
That's a Bic.
Bic. It is a Bic. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
a Bic.
48 cents.
Yeah,
That's
do you,
it.
Do you look at me like do you look down on me or
No.
do you look? Yeah, you don't, right?
No.
But if I were to sit here,
Springsteen still uses a Bic pen and writes his lyrics in a notebook.
I wonder if he
Did you know that?
Does
He's
he
still
use-
writing in a notebook.
Does he use Blue Barrel? Do you think he uses blue ink or black ink, or do you know?
Bruce, I think, I think it's actually blue because there was one of his albums. They included the songbook so you could see his writing. Man is still writing in a composition book from public school.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how he
I
writes.
still
He
do
doesn't
that.
go on the computer.
I do a mixture of both.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do?
I love writing.
You love writing?
But they say it's actually healthier for the mind, for
does.
the fingers to actually do the actual movement of the thing. It's actually better than typing.
And it helps you memorize it.
Yeah, it's very important to write. They claim people who have studied the brain while you're writing. So
And therapeutic too.
very therapeutic.
I'm sorry.
man.
Back to the pens.
1995. An old buddy of mine who's I'm not even going to say his name. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, why would we?
No, I'm not going to do that. Well,
Actually,
because he beat me for the money.
Oh,
okay.
Just say his first. Don't even say his name.
Not even
We
going
don't
to say
even
no.
know.
So he comes to me and he says, "You want to make this residual income for the rest of your life? I don't see any reason we're ever going to run out of this, and you should be able to do this almost forever." I go, "What do you need?" He goes, 10 grand. You're going to get. I said, "What are you doing for 10,000?" Well, me and about 600 people are pooling our money, and we're buying. One guy goes to Japan, and we're buying $1.5 million to $2 million Mont Blanc knockoffs. They were costing about. Listen to this. They were costing about $3. The pens you just saw were $3. They were selling them all around the country at flea markets. Do you know what a flea market is, Darren?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a swap meet.
Swap meet. Okay. In the East Coast, it's called a flea market. Okay. So they have them at the raceways. They have them at Aqueduct Racetrack, Roosevelt Raceway. When the place is closed, the parking lot becomes the friggin' flea market. So they were selling pens that they were paying $1.50. They were selling pens for $12, $13. Okay. So the guy says to me, we have all this money. We got $1.5 million pens.
And the idea is that people would be like, oh, they know it's a knockoff, but
Right.
they're like, hey, it looks cool. Hey,
Yeah.
I'll spend $13 a month.
Absolutely. So the guys are quadrupling their money.
Who are these people?
They're paying exactly. So he says, "Give me 10 grand." I hit my grandmother up for I think 5. I needed the money, and I took 5 out on a cash advance of my friggin' MasterCard for 28 friggin' %, whatever the hell it was back then. And I give him the 10,000. All true story. I give him the 10 grand, and he goes, "Dude, you don't realize what your life is going to be like now." And I said, "Oh, great, man, great." First month goes by, 30 days goes by. I get a check. Get a check from my buddy. Okay. Hands me over a check. One day we're eating lunch. He goes, "Here's your check, man. We're eating at Chin Chin's in Studio City. $1,000 check." I run to Wells Fargo. It clears. It clears. Because I went to his bank first to make sure I'm not bouncing a check. Okay. Clears. I get the $1,000.
Wait, that's I'm sorry to hold that thought. That's a good life hack right there. Good instruction for people. If you get a check,
Oh, yeah, always.
not
I do it all the
quite
time.
Sure,
I do it all the time.
You know, wherever
I go to the person's
Yes.
bank.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I say, "This guy have funds in here?" Yes. So I go in, I go, "Oh my God, this worked. I'm only $9,000 in the hole right now." Okay. I'm 9,000 away from living a free life residual income. 9 more months. Second check. Have lunch. Gives me $1,000 check. I go Wells Fargo. Clears. Boom. $1,000, man. Right back into my account. Okay. At Bank of America. Third check comes. I go to cash it. "I'm sorry, there's no funds in this account." I go, "Excuse me? What do you mean there's no funds in this account? This account has been wiped out. It's been cleaned." I go, whoa. You got to be kidding me.
You're like, I just saw him at Chin Chin's.
Right, exactly. So
you call him up. You're like, hey,
I said, so-and-so. I said, I just tried to cash a check, and there's no money in the account. He goes, and he played the role of, "What? There's no money in the account?" And I don't think it was his account. I honestly don't think it was his account. I think he got the check from his higher up in the con game.
Yeah.
And he said, he goes, "I got to give this check to Dean." Okay. So, I don't think he was complicit in that. Okay. So, comes out and he goes, "Dean, I got bad news, man. There's been a scam, blah, 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 da, 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 da." It was all bullshit. And I found out later on a lot of things didn't add up. For instance, my friend claimed that he just got hit for $22,000 on the scam, that he's out $22,000. So I started noticing, like I would talk to him on the phone and I would pretend to be his friend. And even though I knew something's not right here, and I said, "What'd you do last night?" "I watched Monday Night Football." "What'd you do?" He goes, "Oh, well, me and so-and-so, we went out to Malibu for some surf and turf." And I started hearing this 3 nights a week. Surf and turf 3 nights a week in Malibu. He was having $100, $150 dinners 3 nights a week. And he's claiming that he's on the balls of his ass because he lost $22,000 in the scheme. Okay, so exactly.
Yeah.
So I go. That's a little odd that you just told me you're out $22K. Yeah, but you got to remember my wife works. So I got hit for the 20. I go, I don't buy that shit, man. I said you lose $22,000 unless you got big money.
Yeah.
$22,000. You're probably gonna eat McDonald's for a couple of weeks. And instead of going surf and turf 3 nights a week. And I started noticing this. Very stream of consciousness. I never said, I wasn't trying to come off interrogating. I just said, what'd you do last night? I watched Chicago Hope, whatever the hell was on back then. And he go, we went to Mastro's for, Mastro's, really? Mastro's only $250 for the two of you. It was one of those things. So I started realizing that my old friend was involved in this, and he claimed that he wasn't. And
He's like, I'm sorry to bring
no,
it
go
back.
ahead.
You're like, how was dinner last night? And he was like, oh man, it was nothing to write home about. And if I were to write home, I'd use one of those pens. What was that?
Excuse me, I was drinking water.
What was that meal you said for when you write home?
Oh, the veal piccata.
Yeah. Oh, I'd write home about the veal.
Were we talking about that on here, or were we
Yes.
talking when it was off?
No, this podcast was recording.
We did that with the veal piccata?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been always fascinated with
That
expressions.
was about an hour and a half ago into this
Are we on an
podcast.
hour and a half?
So almost.
Oh,
yeah.
man. And the other expression I love, and my mother, I do a bit on this on stage, and it always gets a nice laugh. When I'm at my mother's house, my mother always, says goodnight to me. She opens up the door to the bedroom I'm in, knocks and opens up the door. And I go, come in, and she's like, she goes, good night. I just wanted to say good night and that I love you and everything. I'm so happy you're here. And then at the very last second, she'll go, so good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bed bugs bite. And I think to myself, that has got to be one of the most unmotivating thing to sleep. To say to a child. So basically what my mother is saying to me in another word is, listen, we're really, really happy you took the flight out here, and we're so happy that you're staying with us, but I just want to let you know that the bed you're in right now is currently infested with bugs.
Don't let them bite you.
But listen, if you sleep tight, they will not bite. Okay, so try and sleep in a very rigor mortis kind of way.
Flex every single muscle in your
keep
body.
every muscle flexed. They will not bite.
Yeah.
They're, okay. And I love that. And that's an expression that people say, don't sleep tight.
Which I never even really thought about it until this whole bed bug mania thing came up about a few years ago. And I'm like, wait a second, bed bugs are real? What the fuck? Yeah.
Abso-friggin-lutely, man. You have to check before you go to a hotel, man. When you stay in a hotel, you have to ask them, hey, I need to know how's your bed bug situation. Because let me tell you something, man. You take those fuckers home with you and you're screwed. Okay, you do not want those in your underwear or anything. Those you're screwed in the house, man. You got to get rid of almost all your clothes. Bed bugs are ridiculous. So
not for me because I sleep tight.
But because you sleep tight.
That's right.
Right, and exactly.
So back to this pen. What's it called again? Mont
Blanc.
Mont
Blanc pens.
So this guy is like, hey.
They were paying $1.50 and selling them for $12 and $13. They're making a shitload.
So the thing goes on, and you're like,
thing goes south.
You guys went dinner again. And he's like,
and I called him out on it 1,000 times, and I said to him, all right, man, when you start making money, my brother said to me, he said, if that happened to me, and my brother knows this guy since we're children. This guy has slept in my house 300 times as a kid. I've slept in his house 300 times. You know who you are, and if you're listening to this. And some people who might know me definitely know who I'm talking about.
So you only got...
I got $2,000 back. I lost $8,000. My
Yeah.
grandmother didn't give a shit. She was like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just don't make that mistake again."
It sucks because it was a friend. A
Guy I grew
personal
up
friend.
with, slept in the same house. So he said he swore to me that when he starts making money and gets successful, he will pay me back around $200 a month, and he'll pay me off in 40 months, man, which is 3.5 years. That's fine. Okay, I don't have a big problem with that. Pay me $200 a month, man. I know you scammed them. I know you're involved in the scam.
So you think he was getting screwed, or you don't think he was getting screwed?
Here's a couple of thoughts. I thought he might have gotten screwed a couple of months ago and didn't tell me, and he thought of a way to get back a few bucks. By saying, maybe I'll scam him. I'll take him for $8,000. even though the friggin' thing is over. In other words, it's
when did this happen? How long ago?
1995.
So that was 95.
I hold no grudges.
It's 2018. So that is 23 years.
23 years.
And are you guys remain friends?
Here's what happened. I forgave him and all this shit. He swore up and down to me. He had nothing to do with it, blah, blah, blah. He swore, but he was a known pathological liar. We all know him as a liar.
And you still went into business with him, knowing he was a liar.
I wouldn't call it a business, what I was doing.
You gave him $10,000.
I gave him $10,000, and he said, I'm going to invest.
I think I just solved a mystery here. This podcast.
Right, exactly.
So you knew he was a pathological liar.
But
and
I saw what was happening. I saw the money that was coming in. I saw he showed me checks. I didn't just give him the money sight unseen. I saw the checks. Yeah. So he showed me these things, and I saw the new car, and I saw the clothes, and I saw certain changes. And he said, I said, how are you doing this? And he told me. He said, we got this thing going, and it's been working, and blah, 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 blah. And but growing up, he was a known pathological liar, and so that anyone who knows me knows that this guy was a pathological liar growing up. So I called him out on it a few times, and he swore he'd pay me back, and I'll give you $200 a month once I start making money. And then when he started getting successful, I'm good. Oh,
okay. Watch
that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to hit. For those of you out there, this is Morgan Freeman. No, I almost hit the little cord here, so Darren was just trying to lift it up. So, and he never paid me a dime. So here's the best part. At the very, very end of the story, this is the best part. This is the kind of guy we're dealing with. The guy one day says to me, "Hey man, I'm doing some thinking, man, and I know I haven't paid you back the money yet and all that stuff, but I saw something that I thought you would really like the other day." And I go, "Oh my God, this is interesting." And he pulls it out, and it's in gift wrap. And I'm at his office shooting the shit with him. And I open it up. I go, "What is this?" He goes, "Just open it up. I saw it and I thought you would like this." And it was a shirt. It was a shirt from the Century City Mall. And it was hideous shirt.
Really?
Okay, it was a hideous button-down shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself,
describe this shirt. I want to see.
It was just a hideous, plaid shit kickers shirt.
Something Garth Brooks would wear in 93.
Yeah, it was hideous.
Totally picture it.
And this is now about 98. This is he's been working.
So now the grudge is going back only 20 years.
So
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So I put the shirt on.
Then he pissed me off in Y2K.
I put this shirt. He said to me, he goes, "We're investing money." A consortium and I were putting our money together. So you have a computer, right? I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, on 1999 at 12:30 at 12 a.m. 2000, the computer's going to crash, but we have a service that will keep it. I need 10,000." No. So he says to me, I thought of you. I thought you would look fantastic in this." And I go, "Oh my God, thank you, man." I mean, the bottom line was the man owes me $8,000.
Yeah.
But you'll love the punchline on this. I put the shirt on in my house, and it's up to my wrist. Okay, the sleeves. Okay, and I can't wear it, and it's hideous.
And if you lift your arms,
you can't. Yeah, right. The whole shirt comes up, and it was hideous. It was hideous, and I happened to see the tag on the shirt with the price tag off, and I went to the store, and I went to the store, Century City Mall, and I'll never forget. Girl comes to the counter. "Excuse me while I yawn." For those of you out there, I don't know if you're aware of this, but it's almost 2:00 in the morning that we're doing this. We're shooting this, so she scans it with the scanner. And she goes, "Well, I can, give you a credit, or I can give you a refund." And I'm thinking, "Oh, wow, I'm going to get about $120, for this." He spent some money. He felt bad. He spent some money. I got back $10.99.
$10.99.
That's what the shirt was. It was reduced and reduced and reduced and reduced and reduced. And I said, what did you just say? And she says to me, it's $10.99. The shirt is finally marked. It's a final markdown. And I went, you gotta be kidding me. $10. And I took the $11, whatever. And I think, if I remember correctly,
I bought a pen with it, okay?
Right. I bought $6.50 pen. And I think I went back to him with the $11, and I think I threw it at him on the desk, and I said, "You piece of shit, man! A leopard never changes his spots, man."
Oh wow!
Yeah, and he couldn't believe I brought the shirt back. He couldn't believe I brought. You should have saw his jaw dropped. He couldn't believe that I did that, and he's just a piece of garbage. But karma has come around the other way. He got hit in his divorce, and he got hit pretty heavy.
I try to stay positive on this podcast. You're like, I prayed to God, and finally the shit hit the fan in his life, and no.
No. Hey, look, you asked me to talk about this scam.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying. I guess the moral of that story is beware. When something seems too good to be true, it usually isn't.
Absolutely.
Okay, it usually isn't. So, and I have become that kind of guy that you have to get up super early to fool me these days, and that's it. That's all I got for you. What else
do
we
you
talk about?
So do you still keep in touch with the guy or no?
No, not really. I don't talk to him. Can I give you that story? Why I don't talk to him? This will be a 2.5 minute story.
Sure.
Okay. So, folks, I have officially forgiven him. The universe slowly started to turn in my favor. Can
I say something real quick before you continue with that? When it comes to forgiveness, I read a great quote. It said, when you hold a grudge, you're letting someone else rent space in your head, and they're not paying for it.
That's correct, and they're not paying.
And they say you forgive them, not because it makes them feel better, but because it makes you feel better. Yeah.
Correct. So I finally forgave the guy as years went by. But you got to remember, Darren, I was a student. I was broke when this happened. When he beat me for the money, I borrowed $5 from my grandmother and $5 from Chase City Card. Okay, and I got hit with those fucking interest charges, man, 28% on a cash advance and all that shit. So my grandmother forgave the money. That's fine. But I got hit for $5,000 that I had to fucking pay off. So, and I was a student, man. So I had no fucking money. I was living on student loans. So, all right, things have gotten better. I ended up making a few bucks over the last 10, 12 years, blah, blah, blah. I did okay for myself. So about, actually, so it was September 11th. I remember, obviously, because of that day. It was September 11th, just 3 years ago. 3 years ago, not 18 years ago, not 17 years ago. 3 years ago. And a buddy of mine calls me and says, hey, man, he calls me like September 9th, September the 6th. And he goes, hey, man, I'm coming down from San Mateo, and I'm going to be in West Hollywood, Beverly Hills area, but let's grab dinner and or lunch or something like that. He's an old friend of mine from childhood that was part of him, okay? In other words, part of the trio, okay, of us smoking pot together, the three of us all the time and going to Met games and all. So I said, his name is Lenny, and I can say his name. I said,
the good guy, the friend.
The good guy, yeah. And I said, Lenny, that's great, man. And he goes, are you going to be around September 11th? It was a Monday. I remember. And I go, yeah. I said, listen, I'm supposed to go see Springsteen in Chicago. Okay, true story. Bruce was on tour. I was supposed to go see him in Chicago. And I said, if I don't go, I'm going to be here. But yeah, if I'm going to go, I'm going to stay like till Tuesday. I end up not going, and I call Lenny, and it said, "Nah, I'm home. I'm staying home, man. I didn't want to fly out there and blah 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 blah." So we go, and as I'm on the phone with him, coordinating the lunch for Monday the 11th at around 1:00 in the afternoon, I decide to be a good guy, and I say, "Hey, Lenny." And Lenny hasn't mentioned the other guy's name the entire conversation. He could give a bigger shit. And I'm a good guy. And I said, hey, why don't we get so-and-so, who shall remain nameless. Let's get so-and-so, and we'll bring along. And he goes, hey, that's a good idea, man. I said, I'll call him, blah, 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 blah. I call so-and-so. Hey, man, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Even though I have these thoughts about him, I'm like, hey, let's get together. Let's grab some lunch. Lenny's in town. We're going to grab lunch the 11th. So I I get a phone call. I forgot how the chronology, how it totally happened. But here's the wind up. Those two guys went to lunch without me. I coordinated the whole thing, and they went to lunch without me because they claimed that I wouldn't have been able to get to lunch at 1 o'clock. I would be at the office or something like that. And making a long short, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Both you guys ate lunch already? And blah, I can tell you're losing interest in this story. And so am I.
No, get to the punchline.
There is no punchline.
You said it was a short story. I just want to know what happened at the end.
I had the veal piccata. No. And I'm not writing home about it. So it should really end like that. But no, that's what happened. And we're talking about grudges and everything.
Yes.
And I and now I haven't spoken to him in 3 years.
To Lenny and the other guy.
Lenny, I also blew off because I spoke to him once or twice. A mutual friend of ours passed away, and I just thought I'd reach out and tell him. Okay. And but other than that, no, because I was like, Lenny, how could you go have lunch with him? Well, he called me and said, look, we'll call Dean and blah blah blah, and next thing you know, we're eating at this place Rocco's in Studio City, and we just said, we'll catch up with him later, blah blah blah, and I was like, what? I'm the one who put this together. You never mentioned his name whatsoever on the conversation. I'm the one who said, let's get together. And so I blew Lenny off, and I blew the other guy, and I haven't spoken to him in 3 years.
Sometimes, you know what? What do they say?
Sometimes you have to part with certain people.
They say some people are in your life for a reason, a season.
That's it, man.
Some other kind of cliche, but it's true though, right?
Yeah.
Like,
listen, man. I'm at a point in my life. You fucked me over. That's it. We're done, man. That's it. I have a friend that always.
There's people that charge your battery, people that drain it. And
that's correct.
And if you get too many of these guys that are draining it, it's like,
you fuck me over, man. I'll come out and I'll pick you up at 3 o'clock in the morning on the side of a road, flat tire, man. I'll do anything for my friends. I really will. I'm a Taurus. I don't know if you know anything about Taurus. Taurus are very weird about loyalty. They're very, very big on loyalty. It's just a weird Taurus trait. And
shout out to all the Tauruses out there.
This is Morgan Freeman.
Shout out to the Tauruses.
And I'm a loyal guy, man. I'll fight to the ends of the earth, man. If you're good to me, man, I give it back to you double, man. So I said to him, I forgot where we were going on loyalty.
Loyalty, getting rid of the grudges. Can we move on to something else?
Yes.
Or did you want to?
No.
Okay.
I forgot what it was, the loyalty thing. But I was turned off that there was no loyalty towards my friendship. But what I'm saying is, I'm at an age in my life now where, like, I have a friend who said, and this is what I was my train of thought. I have a friend who goes out to dinner and hangs out and talks to a guy. There's a friend that he has, this other guy. Okay, there's a friend of mine who has a friend. Okay, and every time that my friend says to him, hey, can you help me out with your agent? I heard, he's pretty good, but I'm looking for a new agent. But that other friend will go, oh, they're not looking for anybody right now. Well, how do you know? They told me don't send anybody, don't refer anybody, which is all bullshit. This guy's just insecure and he doesn't want to help. And I'm a big believer, if you're not a helper, you're not my friend. You're an acquaintance, okay? And that's how I look at friendship. If you're not helping me, then if you're not with me, you're against me. Okay, if you're not with me, you're against me.
Yeah,
I'm a big believer in that, and I have become that guy. I drop people like a friggin' hot potato, man, and that's it. I lost interest in that fake bullshit friendship, and that's a big thing out here.
I can't believe that guy got you to spend $10,000. I mean, that's a lot. That's a big investment. I mean,
Where do you want to go with this?
All right, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about it is October. I know Halloween is coming up.
Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. They'll
7-0.
They'll be going. No, that's
7-0.
No, that's the Rams.
The Rams. Damn it.
You're so
Sorry.
good at sports.
I tried to make it look like I knew what I was
You
talking
really
about.
did. You really did, man.
Oh my gosh.
And you said it so
7-0,
you said
baby.
it like really nice, man.
Those Dodgers, man.
Those Dodgers,
They're
man.
going to the
Pretty
Super
soon.
Bowl.
One day they're going to kick a field goal.
Oh my god.
Those Dodgers, man. They are the highest.
Are you excited about the World Series?
No, I've lost interest in baseball. I don't have the same interest. I believe it or not, and I know this is terrible, but I was actually hoping that Milwaukee would play Boston, just so Milwaukee gets a shout out, gets a
The Milwaukee baseball
Brewers.
team.
Yeah, the Brewers.
Now, what's your favorite football team?
My favorite team. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan.
That's
Wisconsin.
You love Milwaukee area.
I'm a big fan of Aaron Rodgers. I like Aaron Rodgers, and I like Brett Favre when he played. So I've been following them a long time. Yes. Do I like the Jets and the Giants? I'm born and raised 3 miles from where the Jets played.
But your favorite baseball team and your favorite football team are all from Milwaukee.
No.
Didn't you just say that? Milwaukee?
No. I was hoping that the Brewers would play the Red Sox. Just a change of pace, man.
Yeah.
Just a change of pace. But the football team that I love is, I like the Jets and the Giants. But, I also don't like, I'm not going to be a fan of a team that doesn't want to spend any money to make the team better. Okay. And the Jets are notorious for that. Okay. But they're having a decent year so far. They're 3-4. The Giants are only, I think, 1-5 or they play tomorrow night against Atlanta. But as we were saying, congrats to the World Series. And then you were saying something. You were going
the World Series. So here's what I know. It's Boston and Dodgers for sure.
That's correct. The Boston Red Sox against.
How did I do? Did I get it?
You got that right. You got that right. Yes.
I totally said it with confidence about the 7-0. I was like, gosh.
Yep. I said, Dodgers. You went, yep, 7-0,
bro. 7-0.
7-0. Right.
But I think the World Series, I do get excited for that. Like a regular baseball game, it's
hard to watch 162 games.
But the playoffs, you get excited in the World Series.
That's correct. They play 162 games during the year, and quite frankly, who gives a shit?
I know. I love ordering a pizza and watching it. And my son puts his Dodger blanket on, and he grabs the piano and he goes dun 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 dun. Let's go Dodgers. Let's go.
Funny.
It's exciting. I love that part of it.
No, this will be a good series, man. This is a good series. The thing that sucks about those kind of series, man,
Can I have that water, by the way?
flying that these guys have to do. These 3,000 miles each way, man. They have to go back and forth. That's how it works, man. It's like 2 games LA, 2 games LA, 3 games Boston, and then they got to go back to LA for 2 games. I can't remember which team has home field on this.
I just flew in from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Boy, are my arms tired.
I tell you, okay. And it's interesting because I fly Southwest a lot, so I got the points and the miles. So I always get it's great. When you don't fly,
I fly first class on Southwest. I don't know. Do you have first class on Southwest? The emergency row?
The emergency boarding group A. Yeah, which actually is kind of like first class. I love it though because I take them a lot. So I fly out of Burbank if I can. And it's just the best.
It's the best.
It really is. If you don't fly it, it's weird to you because you're like, I don't get it. You don't get it in the assigned seat. But once you understand how it works, it's great because you could choose any seat you want. So because I don't fly American that often, I got stuck in a middle seat, cross country, middle seat. It was very uncomfortable. And on the way back, it was Delta. And Delta was a little bit better. I got a better...
You took 1 and 1? You took 1 for...
Yeah, I took American there and Delta back.
Okay.
And I was, I got a window seat at least on the way back. But it was funny because somebody was sitting in my seat. I'm like, excuse me, I'm 21C or whatever. And she was like, well, it was worth a shot.
Okay.
She was like,
she wanted the
window, yeah, and she ended up sitting in the middle, which I get. I've done that before. you
know what's weird? When I'm on the window seat of a plane and the plane banks a little, I actually get scared I'm going to fall out.
Oh yeah.
I actually feel. I always think that
it's weird, right? You look
for a second.
You look where the sky should be, and you're like, that's the Earth. It's weird.
For a split second, you think I actually think I'm going to fall out for a split second, and then I go, oh no, I'm in a fucking plane, But
I always make sure that the buckle's on tight. But I bring the sleep mask, and I fall asleep pretty good.
Can you fall asleep on the plane?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you can't?
No,
I'm probably too tall. Is it probably really uncomfortable
unless
for
I
you?
get the first, the emergency row. The emergency row to me is the best because...
but then the seat doesn't recline, right? In the emergency row?
No. It's there's one seat that doesn't recline. But every time I've been on Southwest, I get the reclining. I'm very lucky with Southwest. I could have boarding pass C, and I'm thinking that those seats are gone, and I cannot tell you how many of those seats. I've never understood how people are passing by, and I've asked people why do you pass by on the
emergency row,
and their response is always boggles my fucking mind because there is, excuse my French on that, I apologize, I've said it a couple of times, but the response is, well, I don't want to have to be responsible in the event of a crash, and I go. First off, do you know the mathematical odds of you having to be responsible? And secondly, if we hit the ground, you're probably not going to have to be responsible because it's not going to end up good, okay? For most of us. So, but I never understood that people actually.
I thought it was because the seats don't recline.
No, the seats recline fine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the seats recline fine in the emergency row.
Maybe
man.
I was sitting in front of the emergency row.
If you sit in the one that's in front, that's
probably what it was.
Tends not to go back.
Oh, wow.
That one tends not to go back. Then there's on Southwest, there's that one up against the window that there's no seat in front of you whatsoever. So your legs are out, like really outstretched.
I know, that's a good one.
Okay. But the other ones are massive amount of leg room. And, I used to do a bit about the seats on
that's great
on the airlines. But
so I was going to say it's October. We're going to wrap up the podcast, but it's October, Halloween. I was thinking of what was it like growing up Halloween in New York? Did you guys go like house to house?
It was great,
like,
man.
Trick or treating, or was it apartment buildings?
It was such a great time because. At that time it gets dark at 4:30 in the afternoon. October 31st, it gets dark at that time, and you didn't have as many. I don't think you had as many psychos back then. You had stories of psychos. Don't bite into an apple. There's a razor blade in the apple. That always bothered.
Which actually they prefer that in Glendale. That way they can get an apple and they can shave.
Oh, there you go. Hello.
Heyo.
I'll be
Shout
here
out
all
to
week.
Rams.
I'll be here all week. Try the veal piccata. And it was a really good time growing up in Queens because you knew your neighbors back then. You see, I grew up in a neighborhood where the neighbors sat on the stoop with a transistor radio in the summer. We would sit on the stoop, 90-degree weather. We had air conditioning, but we had, power outages back then.
Wasn't there like a big New York blackout? The big blackout was
9:34 p.m. that happened. At
wow.
9:34 that happened.
What was the blackout?
The entire city. Everything just went completely dark.
In the early 70s, I think, right? I
was in my friend's house. I was in Jay Boyaski's house when that happened. It was 9:34, 9:29 and 9:34. It was definitely the 5-minute, one of those fives, the 9 or the 4. And all of a sudden, you're just watching television.
Should I look it up? Should I look up how long it was?
Yeah. I think I'm going to say I was in 4th or 5th grade. I'm going to say 76.
Famous New York blackout.
I'm going to say 76.
Wow. It's interesting.
August 76?
Oh, it says okay, there was different ones, but let's look up the one from okay, here we go. What month do you think it was?
I thought it was August. It was really hot.
July 13th.
Okay. There you go.
1977.
77.
The blackout that hit New York on this day, July 13th in 1977.
What time?
Was to many a metaphor for the gloom that had already settled on the city, an economic decline coupled with rising crime rates.
That's correct.
And the panic-provoking and paranoia-inducing Son of Sam murders.
Son of Sam.
You just got done saying, I loved Halloween. There was no psychos.
Son of Sam,
Except for the Son of Sam.
Son of Sam shot somebody about 4 or 5 miles from my house.
Wow.
At a club called Eliphas.
Wow.
David Berkowitz. How'd they get him? Parking ticket.
Really?
Yeah, he had unpaid parking tickets because he would park his car and walk looking for lovers in the area, and he didn't pay a certain parking ticket. And back then, they noticed that this guy's gotten a few tickets in different parts of the boroughs, and it's at nighttime and blah blah blah, and somebody went to go try and collect. They knocked on the guy's door, and he went, "You got me, huh?" They weren't coming to get him. They were coming for unpaid parking tickets. And the guy goes, "You found me, huh?" And then that's when they put two and two together. And they said, because this, it was weird. But yeah, I remember that the blackout. But yeah, it was a very.
Was that like a big scary thing for you guys back then?
We all sat out. Everybody's, everybody did candlelight. And you sat out in the lawn. The problem with the blackout was the looting. The looting was really bad. But I lived in Queens, so there wasn't that many stores when I grew up in Queens. There wasn't that many. I don't think there was too much looting. The looting occurred in Harlem.
And it said a lot of fires and people were starting fires and
looting. Harlem.
It said even the looters were getting mugged.
Oh, yeah,
it sounds like a terrible. Oh my god.
Oh, it was ridiculous what went on, and that happened. I think at Indian Point. Indian Point was the Con Edison thing that went down, and the whole grid, everything. It was just gone. There was nothing, and people thought at first it was like, it'll be 10 minutes. They'll fix it. 10 minutes. But if I remember, does it say how long it was?
It says it happened. I didn't see where. I'm sorry. I closed the page. But yeah, it said the time was. I think it said 8:37.
Is that what it was? 8:37. Yeah. Okay, I thought it was 9:34 when that happened. But
Well, that's good. You're not like Rain Man, where you're like, definitely 9:34. It's in August. I was wrong. It was July. It was 8:37. But
definitely Jack of Clubs. And so that was it, man.
I want to get back and have you back on the podcast. I want to talk more about New York, what that was like, the blackout, the Son of Sam, what that was like growing up.
It was very annoying.
In closing, what Son of Sam was annoying.
It was very annoying because you had to be careful. You had to get your hair cut a certain way.
Why?
Because he was going for a certain type. He was. I
don't even know much about him. I just know he was a serial killer.
He was going for a certain type. He had a certain type in mind. He was hitting, if I remember correctly, he was hitting dark-haired women. So women were going out at night with wigs.
Really?
Oh yeah, this was insane. What was going on?
We had Richard Ramirez on this side, the West Side,
this one, right?
West California.
Yeah. The weird thing
Night
is,
Stalker.
David Berkowitz. He, I shouldn't say only, but people you think of a serial murder, you think of like John Wayne Gacy, 31 Boys.
Yeah.
What's his name?
The guy from Milwaukee.
Bundy.
Yeah. Ted Bundy.
Bundy was out here, Florida. Florida, and Bundy was all over the country. Bundy kept taking his car and just going all over the place. But Milwaukee was Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Right. But these guys, Berkowitz, and I use the word lightly, heavily. I don't mean any disrespect. He only, like I said, it sucks. Only he killed 6, wounded a few more, and destroyed somebody's eye socket and one, and permanent damage, and blah blah blah, slight brain damage. But he was considered a heavy-duty serial murderer, even though you had guys that have done 40, 50, 60 people that they've killed, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, that was a very weird summer. I was 13 years old. We used to like to go out. My friends used to like to go out, and it was very scary, man. You had to really worry where you went, and it's crazy, but sad stuff.
Sad stuff and a little scary, a little bit. Especially it's Halloween. That's why we.
Right, and now they interviewed him on 60 Minutes about a year ago, in prison, and now he's like a reformed chaplain, or he got heavily into religion, And he consoles people now.
So
and
weird.
It's very strange. Yeah. But he said that wasn't me. That was a mentally ill individual back then. And he claims I don't even know who that person was. So whatever. It's neither here nor there. I have no sympathy for him. Whatever. And it is what.
Do you remember some of your favorite Halloween costumes growing up?
Dennis the Menace.
Really?
Dennis the Menace. I had a.
I don't even know if that was a costume.
Dennis the Menace. I had a spider. I think I had a Spider-Man.
See, Spider-Man's timeless.
I had at the time they were selling Star Trek pajamas with the insignia. That was a big thing.
I remember that. That was
remember
great.
that?
I like Star Trek.
Yeah, were you a Trekkie?
I liked Star Trek back then. I don't like any of the.
I didn't get right.
Yeah.
I lost interest. I only liked it with
Captain
William Shatner and Nimoy.
Spock.
Right. That was a great show, and I had the pajamas, and I think I went out with that.
It's so cool.
Yeah, Halloween was great, man. It was a great time. And
we used to do you ever do a homemade contest or costume back then? You dressed up like hobos. I remember.
Yeah, everybody did a hobo thing. If
With
you
the
were
stick
doing
and
your
the
own,
bandana. Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld has some really. If you want, folks out there, if you want to listen to some really great
that Superman bit.
You know the bit?
Yeah, where you put and then your mom puts the coat on over the costume.
Right.
And you're like,
right. And my mom makes me wear a winter jacket over it. But if you really want to listen to some really, really brilliant stuff about Halloween, check out Jerry Seinfeld. I think it's I'm telling you this for the last time. Is the special, and catch the bit about Halloween. It's about 5 or 7 minutes long, the actual bit, and
I want to say
just
this
brilliant.
too before we go. I want Dr. Dean, to start his own podcast. People love when he comes on here. You're great. You got the gift of gab. We're thinking of some titles. Let us know what you think. Go to the Pocket Party Podcast forum on Facebook and just throw out if you got one. Let us know what you think. We're thinking
bedtime stories with Dr. Dean.
I love it. Bedtime stories with Dr. Dean. That's my favorite. Bedtime stories with Dr. Dean.
And then there was another one, folks. For those of you who don't know, but there's a canyon out here that people hang out at and they hike. And there's some great benches that overlook the LA basin, and you can hang out. I was going to do something called Relaxing at Runyon with Dr. Dean. And could be a little bit of a pain in the ass to do because, everything would have to be with battery and all that stuff. But it's very doable.
And getting guests to go up there, hey, hike with me. But,
right.
Or no, there was the other one that we thought of, the couch.
On the couch with Dr. Dean.
On the couch with Dr.
Which
Dean.
I thought, folks, has a connotation that I'm a psychologist or a psychotherapist. So let me know your thoughts on that.
I like that, though. Bedtime stories with Dr. Dean or On the Couch with Dr. Dean.
On the couch. And
I like them both.
I like them, yeah.
And I like the idea that maybe you don't have to, you could just do like, once a month you go for a hike up there. And then,
right.
And
then maybe have that as the special guest.
Yeah.
Right. And we just sit overlooking the basin.
And you just like the idea, like the ambiance, like crickets.
People walking by. Yeah. People walking. Yeah. It's such a great place.
We could even do a podcast. I was thinking like, I don't know if it'd be good though, but like where we're walking and talking,
Right, but if we do it in the canyon, it becomes Hiking with Kevin Nealon.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is a great show, folks. Yeah. That's another show.
Or
you guys
we could grab some coffee and then get in the car and then talk.
And then it becomes comedians in cars getting caught.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right.
Let's just stay in people's pockets and
let's just
start this party.
Let's just sit in the comedy club at 2:00 in the morning. I don't even think there's people in here anymore.
Yeah, pocket party. See,
folks, I had a great time, and I hope you.
I'm going to end on this. I want to say, do you have any words of wisdom, any life hacks, any things you want to do? Like how we like to end the show.
Words of wisdom. Don't take this thing too seriously, man. It's the one thing I've learned is. I'm 54 years old, and you got to have some fun, man. You just got to enjoy the ride. I know Sean out there is in his 20s, whatever, maybe going through a rough time. You just got to enjoy the ride. This thing called life is so friggin' crazy, man. And you just don't know where you are from day to day, and you don't know, just try and enjoy the ride and also, something, what I do these days, folks, and it's a very interesting thing. when I'm at Runyon Canyon, because that's where I see most people, because I don't know if you know, but out here people don't walk in the streets out here. Everybody drives.
That famous song, Nobody Walks in L.A.
Right. So I'm a New Yorker, and I'm used to walking in the streets my whole life in Manhattan and blah, blah, blah. And people don't look at you, or they give you an odd look, or blah, blah. But one of the things I do is I like to smile at people as I'm walking by in Runyon Canyon. And it's just it's that typical smile, not like a creepy smile like let's go in the woods or I'm going to grab you and take you in the woods. It's the smile of, hey, how you doing kind of thing. I've seen you before here, that kind of thing. And man, smile at people, man. Do something nice for somebody. I do something nice almost every single day of my life because of the business I'm in. Okay, and I charge for it, but there are times that people don't have the money that I normally ask for. I'm a little expensive because if you read about my reviews on the net, you'll see I'm pretty good at what I do. I'm not going to tap myself on the back. But if you read about me, you'll find out that I'm pretty good at what I do. We'll leave it at that. So I'm a little expensive, but I do.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm just laughing because I'm like, do you have any words of advice? Any words of wisdom? I kind of tuned out mentally, and then I tuned back in, and you're like, folks, I'm expensive, I'm worth it. And I have to pat myself on the. I'm like, what the fuck, Dean?
No. I'm trying to bring out a point that I also give it away for free.
Yes.
Okay. When people come in,
I'm joking.
And like for instance, folks, I don't charge dogs. I don't charge dogs when they come in. The dogs have bad backs and hips. I don't charge them. I work on dogs. Now they don't come in by themselves.
Yeah.
They don't come in by themselves, but sometimes people.
But you're saying smile at people.
Smile at people, man. Do a nice thing for people. We have become a very me society. Okay, everything is what's in it for me kind of thing. And then you have, and then there's people that have no accountability. They take no accountability for anything that is done that is bestowed upon them. Everything is somebody else's fault. We become a litigious society, constantly suing this. You're bad.
My wife had a really nice thing happen to her, man. Somebody backed up their car and hit her car. And they left a note, and they did insurance, and they're gonna repair everything. And the lady, she didn't have to do that. Yeah. My wife goes, I was so surprised that this.
Do you know what the scam that they do on that one is most of the time? Your wife was lucky.
Hold that thought. My wife tell us that scam. That could be our last life lesson. But my wife was surprised that A, somebody left a note, and B, that the phone number actually worked, and C, that the thing is actually gone through, like the insurance is going to pay for it. And okay, what's the scam?
The oldest scam in the book with that, when someone hits your car and nobody's around and blah blah blah, and there's maybe people at a parking lot or something, or a Walmart, or a big backed in, the guy gets out, writes a note on the thing saying, "Hi, I just hit your car. I'm sorry I did so. I'm making it look as though I'm writing a whole bunch of information right now as to how to get in touch with me, but I'm just saying, hey, shit happens, blah blah blah, and sorry about that." But and they leave no information, so people think that he's writing something. He's getting out of the car and he's writing. Okay, and that's an old scam, But no, I just want to say we walk. We're so afraid to smile at somebody that and give off the energy of, hey man, I hope you're having as good a day as I am. Richard Gere, who's a devout Buddhist, many years ago, about 35, 40 years ago, he was doing Broadway, and he would walk on the streets in Manhattan, and he would smile at every person he saw on the street. And as he was smiling, he would say, I hope you're having as good a day as I am. I wish you only amazing things. To himself, not to the person. Okay? And he said, by the end of his walk, he had felt so amazing about himself, not in an egotistical, narcissistic way, but that he had given off so much energy for people to. You look like you're getting antsy.
No, finish the story.
No, we're good. Yeah. We're good. I'm just saying, words of wisdom. Be nice to people. You get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar, man. And that's really what it's all about. And I try and be nice as much as I possibly can. And that's it. Thank you for having me, Darren. As always, I hope we had a good show.
Very good, man. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I didn't sleep at all last night. I only slept on the airplane, and then I took a little nap. And
You couldn't fall asleep or the construction?
no, not the construction. It was just I had that early flight, so I had after I finished the 2 shows. I
What
got back
time
to
was
the
your
hotel.
first flight? What time?
First flight, I had to go to the I had to be in the lobby for the shuttle at 3:30 in the morning.
Ooh,
Yeah, but
and you're
that-
getting off stage 11 o'clock.
Yeah, so you're wrapping stuff up, and you're like, do I have? But yeah, and so it's funny because the shuttle to the airport, the guy was telling me he's like the airport doesn't even open till 4. So I'm like, all right. So we get there. Then of course it's kind of nice to be in an airport that's like, especially compared to like LA airports. I mean, it's really a small airport. But I'm talking to the shuttle driver, and I love being a comedian and I love podcasting. But every now and then, you ever have that fantasy of like, what's it like for other people in these other towns? Like, what's their life like?
Right.
Like especially the cost of living.
Right.
I mean, it's way down in those other towns. This guy was telling me, and I don't know if this is bullshit or not, but it's. Because he was also like talking a mile a minute at 3:30 in the morning, and I noticed some of his teeth were missing. So I don't know if the guy's on something or I don't know. But here's what he told me. He told me his other job is that he's a welder, and he said he makes $4,000 every 2 days as a welder. That's what he told me, and I was like, really? And he
But
goes,
he doesn't put his money into dentistry.
exactly. I know. But he told me. I was thinking like he's like, yeah, he's saying how they did something at some stadium or something in Atlanta, and I'm like, the handrails in some stadium. Can you imagine making $4,000 a day or every 2 days?
Wow.
Welding handrails into a stadium. It almost made me want to like learn how to weld.
Yeah, well, hey, look, I've been telling people for years, don't get a college education.
Hold on, someone's looking. You guys about ready to wrap up? Okay.
That's
cool.
the club,
We're
by
almost
the
done.
way, folks. That's the club.
Okay.
The club is officially closed. It's 2 a.m. right
Yes.
now.
Well, anyways, you guys are great.
You guys were great. A lot of fun.
If you want to make money, get into welding every 2 days.
I always tell people, stay away from college unless you want to become a doctor, lawyer, CPA, go into refrigeration repair and plumbing. I'm telling you, that's where the money is.
Yeah, otherwise you start your young life off owing money, right? Owing debt, being in college loans and stuff.
You want to become a doctor, a whole different ballgame. More power to you. You want to become a CPA, more power. You want to become a lawyer, more power to you, man.
Nowadays you can watch YouTube tutorials and whatnot. But hey, I want to thank you guys for listening to the Pocket Party Podcast. You lasted all the way to the very end. We thank you.
This is Morgan Freeman.
And that's right. And Dean, you must have said you're 54 years old at least 15 times on this podcast.
Really?
I think so. You said I'm 54 years old, and you did that, and then you also said
percentages of hair.
No, not that. The Morgan Freeman impression.
Right.
This is who?
This is Morgan Freeman.
So for those of you that are going to listen to this podcast twice, and I don't know who you are, but if you do, go back and listen and let us know. What did he say more? This is Morgan Freeman, or that he's 54 years old?
All right.
That's cool.
I got it edited.
Dean was great. You were great, buddy. Thanks for doing the Pocket Party Podcast. And Dean's right. Tomorrow, I want you guys to walk around, and when you smile at someone, say, I want you to have a good day, a great day in your mind, mentally. And you're going to feel a lot better. I'm going to do it. I'm looking forward to doing it.
It's such a great exercise. I do it all the time now, man. And
Dean practiced what he preaches, man. I've seen him talk to people I would probably not want to talk to. I'm like, that guy looks kind of scary. Meanwhile, Dean's over there. Hey, how's it going, man? You've been,
Right. I try,
dude.
man. You got to make the connection.
He's out there at 2 a.m. lifting weights, talking to dudes in weird parking lots, that live in those parking lots.
You got to make the connection, man. We're here to connect with each other, man, and that's the bottom line, man.
I think this club wants us to connect with our cars and get the heck out of here. But
all right. Thank you for having me, Darren.
You're welcome, buddy. Thank you. You're great.
Thanks.
Pocket Party Podcast. It's my favorite podcast. The Party Podcast.
We made it all the way through. What a nice conversation, huh? Did you listen to it all in one sitting? Did you break it up over a couple of days? How did you do it? Did you listen and then wait a month and finish it out? Or how did you do it? You made it all the way to the very end, and I thank you for that. If I got you this far, please take the time. 5 ratings on iTunes under Darren Carter Pocket Party Podcast. Leave a review. If you want me to plug any kind of social media you have on there, please put your social media handles. If you have a business, I'll even give it to Glenn's grass cutting business in Knoxville, Tennessee, or whatever. I'll do it, man. I don't care. We're here to help each other. You lay down a review, maybe donate some to the Pocket Party Podcast. in the detail section. Whatever you got to do, we'll do it. And once again, go to my official Darren Carter on Instagram. Watch my stories. Watch what I do on Instagram. Part of YouTube. I put videos up on YouTube that you don't see anywhere else. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you soon, all right? Remember, get out there, and as my old boxing coach used to say, as the boxers would leave, they'd be like, all right now, don't hurt nobody. Okay, don't hurt nobody. Okay. And then when I'd leave, be careful. So get out there, don't hurt nobody, and be careful.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.